How's it going? It's Man Tomorrow here. Give me a couple minutes to get set up here. Just stopped. Just got to this hotel, so hold on a second while I set up here. Good morning, Man Tomorrow here. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Apparently something's up with the notifications again. All right, so while I get in contact with YouTube, y'all like the video I'm coming in. Let me open up YouTube here. So that way we can see exactly what's going on here. Because people think that I'm doing these things out of spite. I'm doing these things because I'm a hater. No, I'm doing these things for a very specific reason. You have to protect what you are a part of. Because if you don't protect what you are a part of, other people will just come through on grift mode, trying to gain an audience with the actual same thing that you actually represent. So you have to recognize that this whole black male independence bullshit that's being pushed by PhDs within this space, it's just that. It's bullshit. Because I'm going to give you this. Well, it's not a secret. However, most pro-blacks operate under the same principles and guidelines. It doesn't matter whether you are. It doesn't matter. And this applies across the board for people across the board. As a pro-black, your job is to humanize and make excuses for Pookie. That's your job. Your job is to take the blame from the individual who've done the actual things within the environment and to shift that blame over to the government. What's going on, Masculine? What's going on? Justin Mars, thank you for the $2 super sticker. That's what a pro-black's job is. A pro-black's job is also making excuses for the women's behavior within the environment. That's the second tenet that most pro-blacks operate off of. They make excuses for the pathological behavior of both of these two supreme destructive forces among black people. I don't use the word ADOS because I don't work with dumb motherfuckers. And I'm not part of a group with dumb motherfuckers either. I'm going to work with the best of the best because that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be taking on the positions, the arguments, and the lifestyles of people who don't match my own personal value system. So you have to understand that. SYSBM. Everybody wants to take down SYSBM. Dude, listen. SYSBM is about outcomes. Not inputs, not conversations, but outcomes. That's why SYSBM people are not really responding to things within the environment because there's two types of people here within this space. And I was going to do this live stream Friday, but I'll go into it right now because it's kind of related. And there's no need to go over the same information again and again. What's going on, Soul Provider? There's two types of people here. There is the let it burn people. That's what SYSBM is. I'm not responsible. I'm only responsible for myself. I care about a good outcome. I'm going to work with cultures of people who actually are acculturated to understand what I bring to the table and all this kind of stuff. We're not trying to use game and all this other nonsense to deal with people within the environment. We're not doing any of that. You have people who want to go along their way without being responsible for the women within the environment. You can't be responsible for people who deliberately do things within an environment. I know people are caught up in watching the women so-called quote unquote get theirs with this Kevin Samuel stuff. But dude, you got to not get caught up in that, man. Because seeing a basic person within an environment who has been socially conditioned that she gets whatever she wants to, watching a person like that get theirs is not going to help at all. It's going to take you off what you need to be doing as a person. But most importantly, the watch it burn people are exceedingly dangerous. That's the other part of the person here. The watch it burn people are not watching it burn for the sake of watching it burn. They want to watch it burn so the women can turn to them for help. You see, the watch it burn people are the people who is waiting for her to get in dire straits so she can come to the negotiating table. That's what the watch it burn people want to do. The watch it burn people, they don't want to see complete suffering. They just want to be the opportunist once the suffering starts to happen. This is why they are intent on being in environments to where people want yeah, That's what they want. Because at this point in time, they want to be turned to. When the only thing they want to do is they want to surrender to the women within the environment, and they don't want to feel bad about it around everybody else within the same environment. Drone Ninja, thanks for the $5 super chat. And watching the burn. Yes, but it's going to burn without me being present. Because we got stuff that we need to do here. Because without productivity, these people won't be able to stand anyway. Or once UBI hits, they'll just be in these massive colonies of people who just fell out of society. You have to realize, for the most part, why most of the Watch It Burn people, most of them, there are a couple who are there like Drone Ninja. It does need to, but I don't care what happens to it because I'm not going to be around. But you have to realize that with these people within this space, they are coming here because the manosphere is in disarray, as you can see. The election's over. Nobody has any plans. So everybody is hard charging into talking about something else, which is fine. But you have to realize the danger when things are in disarray, when there's no clear management in a structure. It usually takes on a different form, and it usually goes backwards. So let's get to the topic of the conversation. That was my intro. All right. Yep, you got that right. Pookie PR and WAP tech support. That's all it is. I took the words right out of my mouth. But you have to realize that when pro-blacks come to the space, they have all this information in history about black male victimization. But you have to realize, with that type of information, here's how you're supposed to process that type of information. My grandfather taught me this a long time ago. How not to be sucked in by these guys who know all of this information. What is that individual doing with the information that they learned? What type of results do they have within their life after they have this information? So anybody can come around talking about the future of black men and the victimization that black men has faced by being loyal to the counterpart within the environment, because we never required anything from the counterpart within the environment. We only required her to benefit off as many men as possible. What's going on, Art? That's what we required. And this is why you never find me hating the actual counterpart within the environment, because I understand what happened. I understand the story behind what happened. I understand that you're never going to get somebody to, especially as a culture wide, to say that they've neglected and abused most of the younger and older men within the environment. You're never going to get them to admit that, but you can understand the system around it. You're not going to get a direct confession. That's what circumstantial evidence is about. I didn't get any of this information from an abject confession from people. I just put together all the things that happen within the environment. And you have to notice that most of the conversation was able to be shut down by just simply citing the fact that you don't get no sex within the environment. Therefore, you don't have an actual say in what goes on in the environment unless you're actually interacting with the people within the environment. That's how they normally cut off any type of talk when it came to men reaching the level of truth about what's going on within the environment. That's clearly what happened. And most of the men within the environment has surrendered to the conditions of the environment. Whether they're engaging in sexual activity or not, because that's how black men are actually judged within the environment, is how much you could compromise, how much you can be around the actual predicament and not get caught. What's going on, Black Torch? And how much you're willing to defend your position among them to other men within the environment. That's what black men are judged on. But you have to recognize that that's how the environment judges men, because black men are looked at as a subsegment beneath women of the environment. But what happens when you deliberately decide to put the decision in your own hands and move into another direction? What's going on, Mike B? Because, see, the reason why SYSBM get attacked a lot, and by mostly older people, is because they cannot believe that they are left behind in a system that is substandard. And they have nobody to wave their gains of WAP within the environment over as power. It's almost as if the men within the environment see themselves as a higher man off the discontent of other men within the environment. But these self-appointed social engineers have never thought about the simple Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you have to recognize that unfulfilled and unhappy men are not going to be able to produce for an environment. They're just flat out, it's not going to be able to produce for the environment. But you would have pro-blacks and people who have PhDs who know better coming to you within the environment to make everybody comfortable where they are. We are in an uncomfortable position because of lack of capitalized on opportunity within the environment. That's what we suffer from. Because if people are coming overseas to the United States and making the most out of the Black American, I'm sorry, making the most out of the American experience than people who are here already, that's a problem. And then they come up with all these terminologies: ADOS, pro-Black, all these things that meant we are all are not one happy family. We don't share the same value system. JJ Wilson, it's just simple logic. Simple logic. Because he's trying to justify why he's still here. And that's why he's always going to lose that conversation before he opens his mouth. Because he has an agenda. So with this conversation right here, choice matters. Now you've been socialized, choice have been socialized away from you. But choice is something that's very realistic, especially for men. If you had your DNA mapped, you can see all the places or strands of where your DNA has came to be now. Nobody has pure DNA. It's ridiculous to think that anybody has pure DNA except for people who've never left an area. Especially people who have the background that we have in the United States. It's impossible to think that we have pure DNA. Now, you go back 4 or 5 generations, there's no telling what your family tree probably looked like. That's what choice gives you. Choice. So what most people within this environment, when they come here, they want to humanize sociopathic behavior. Make sure you don't leave because these people cannot survive on their own. They can't survive on their own. Because they want your 100% self to be divided among the zeros among the group. Rather than you formulating the best team that you possibly could. Because if you take people out of an area and you place them in another area, other than the skin color that obviously gives it away who they are, or the language, if you're that close to them, it's the behaviors of the group wherever they go and what determines the actual outcome of things within the environment. So what you got to recognize is that you have a choice. You don't have to pick from what's here within the environment. And that's why Black male independence is a Trojan horse. They come in the environment and they're running the same pro-Black game that any other pro-Black is running. No criticism of Pookie. Forgiving Keisha for her past behaviors. And somehow, by doing both of these things and simultaneously accepting these people, you're going to get a different outcome than their life already has. And most of these people right now are even hungrier than they were before. And this is why SYSBM is not a political organization. Why? Nobody cares about politics, because once you decide that you're not going to do business here, your politics is going to be able wherever you go. Because the black male independence movement is not really all that independent. It looks a hell of a lot like all the other conversations that's been had within the space. Why would you talk about forgiving the woman of the environment, but ignoring the kids that the woman has raised within the environment that you ought to deal with? You're dealing with the same people. Then you turn around and say, simply put, about baby mama drama. Why would you have baby mama drama if you already know the culture of people to which you're going to be dealing with? Why would they tell you about dodging something that you know is part and parcel of the actual environment of dating those people? If they're socialized to have as much as they want with nearly no consequences, there's a great likelihood and chance that you're going to run into every single one of those things that they're telling you to dodge by dealing with the same people. That's the problem. And I'm telling you right now, when you see all these maggles in the chats of these guys who claim to be so educated, these guys don't care about your education. They care about having representation, no matter who it is. They care about representation. They care about not being held responsible. They care about making it look like everything is fine. It's just a lack of your competing within the group that led to your unhappiness with the same group. That's not true. Maybe the things within the environment are not ideal for a man to deal with from the start. And then a man is forced to give up his idea of choice to stay within a group that does not appreciate him and try to alpha his way through this. How is this supposed to work? If you can't call balls and strikes, if you call all balls and then the bases stay loaded, that's the problem here. All because they want to be friends with this destroyer. That's why there'll never be any progress. Because we're unwilling to be a separate group of people that has minimum standards. Everybody's running the same game around here. Everybody's running the same game around here. So what you got to understand is, if you're going to be a separate group of people, you cannot accept destroyers as part of your group. You got to have minimum standards in order to exist and survive. That's what a culture is, minimum standards. But you got people who want to do all the same things that other people have done before, except for put their spin on it. But I'm like, dude, these conversations have already been had, man. This is why I say it's not a popularity contest. It's about black male outcomes. Because after you learn about the victimization of black men within the environment, and you go back and deal with the same people, because it wasn't the government that did this to you. It was the individual empowered by the government that did this to you. Everybody within this environment here has a choice of whether or not they're going to deal with these things or not. But everybody else get their major choice in society, but you don't get yours. How much would a normal black community would be worth if they didn't run off all the educated people and the actual professionals in the group from actually living there? That place would be worth a lot right now. But you got the same people who claim that they are part of another group wanting to speak for those people who are not part of their group, just so that way they can have a position among everybody. And when it comes down to it, they will throw your ass out. You're not one of them. You may speak for them, but you're not one of them. This is why it's vitally important to not do these things in a way, in a manner that has already been proven to not work properly. Your voice matters a lot. What we need right now is skills and abilities. If you cannot produce in the next 2 years, you're going to be left behind for an entire generation. I don't want that for the group that I'm a part of. This is why this is a problem. I understand that you want to be felt, you want to be heard, you want to hear the same conversations over and over again, but at what cost? At some point, you're going to have to move from this position. That's the position here. So you have to realize that all this is a retread of stuff that's already here. But what's the difference between this time than any other time? I'm pointing it out up front. Not because I want their audience. No, no, no. I want you to know what you're listening to and looking at. How could you call yourself black male independent if you come on the scene, you're not criticizing Pookie, you're not telling people to stay away from this goddamn Dago, you're not even criticizing the dating coaches, you're not even criticizing the ex-pimps, the street people. You're not saying any of this stuff, but you want black men to be united as one group. Given the background that has happened, we have not equally held respect for one another equally within the environment. And you know that's the history of the people within the environment. What this is the free bunny rabbit, but you got to take the rattlesnake with it. And you got to package them in the same bag. And you can't separate them. This is why your independent and individual outcome, without using the things within the environment that's guaranteed, that is nearly guaranteed to go bad, it's something that you shouldn't be using. They're acculturated to bring nothing to the table. They're acculturated to take everything from them, from the table. And they're also acculturated to walk away with everything and to walk into another camp, acting like nothing is wrong. Gino, thank you for the 2 hour super chat. Yeah, black male foolishness. Okay, people forget about the multiplier effect, right? Here's what the multiplier effect is. Overall, that's what it is. If you were to have everybody become dating coaches within a group, how would that be effective for the group? Wouldn't be too effective, would it? If everybody were to become PhDs and sell black male victimhood to fellow black men, but not skills and abilities, what would that do for the group? Wouldn't do much for the group, wouldn't it? But if you had people focused on skills and abilities to be able to be self-sufficient without all of these cultural problems that's due to come to you for dealing with a certain group of people in a certain type of culture, what would that do for people? It will be a better output overall. You cannot trust this counterpart within this environment. And it's exceedingly rare that you can find someone in this environment who actually wants to understand that. You can't be black male independent and have all of these things around that you're not being critical of. And you expect for all of these obstacles to be in the way and for black men to still be successful on top of that. This is why in other societies and cultures, skills and abilities run things. In this society and culture, the chase of the JJ run things. Or making it look like you have control over this stuff locally run things. Feminism has created a lot of jobs for men. Created jobs for dating consultants. Created jobs for dudes making whole entire livings off of trying to tell basic truth to a sociopath, an acculturated sociopath within the environment? These were the real betas. The guys who just wanted to chase women, these were the real betas. They came onto the internet and started calling themselves alpha because of sexual access. Failed men who failed out of career fields came online for a new life. Talking about the very substance that they can stay away from. Yes. The outcomes of boys can be controlled by the men of the environment if the men hooked up with cultured women who were raised to turn their boys into something within the environment. That's how you protect the black future, by kicking somebody out of the future. You have to realize that actions have consequences. What's going on, Black Avenger? That's right. And what do you say to people who's never been held to account for anything? The only thing they do within the environment is they wait for a domestic man who's compromised by the kitty to come along and make all her arguments for her. All this stuff can be dodged. All this stuff can be dodged. But learning about your own victimization, thanks to this counterpart within the environment, and then turning right back around and dealing with the same people, it isn't going to work. Thanks for the $5 super chat, the glorious one. It's not going to work. This is why you got to take choice seriously. And this is why you get the overall choice that matters, where you put your seed at. You're not supposed to be worried about the future of a family that you didn't create in your household. You're being taught and being socialized within the environment that you must accept these people no matter what. Things will start changing for you in life the moment you stop accepting things. You have to inverse the serenity prayer. You have to change the things that you cannot accept and do business elsewhere. Because you can't be black male independent if you're leaving all the same stuff in place. If you're leaving the pimps, the pushers, the OGs, and all this stuff, if you're leaving all this stuff in place and still trying to do business among the same people, you're running a fraud. among the people that you claim you want to help. I just don't want our people going through the same stuff that other people went through. Hell, I don't even associate with some of the people offline in my personal life. Because all they got at this point is shaming language or calling you a trick or some stupid shit like that. It's not even real criticism. But you got to stay focused. Because once you get your individual means to produce without nobody's opinion, and when you're able to close their door and you enjoy that peace, they want you to mortgage that away before you know how powerful it is. They don't want you to be able to understand how powerful peace and order is without these people around. They don't want you to ever recognize that. They don't want you to witness that. They don't want you to understand the joy of harmony. They don't want that. Because if you left, that means somebody else has to take care of their responsibilities for them. This is it for them. If they can't have you as a stepdad, they definitely want you as a mentor. They can't have you as a mentor, they definitely want you to be putting your hands in some kind of way. Because remember, they're part of the sexual class. Their job is not to raise kids. Their job is to have them. Your job as the person who is not chosen to help her create the environment, your job is to take care of the environment for her. If you cannot independently survive, it's time for your ass to go. If you cannot produce independently, it's time for your ass to go. If you cannot create without destroying others, it's time for your ass to go. Your stay here has been long enough. Because, see, they can't survive without you. That's why everybody's here trying to get you focused back on this person who's now suffering. She wanted the ability to make decisions like a man, and now she has the outcome that men have when they don't produce, when they're supposed to. Failure. If you don't want the burden of failure, don't be in charge of making your own decisions for yourself. That's how this works. And for people who are over the age of 30, and especially people who call themselves professionals within the environment, who can't simply speak and talk like I talk to men among them is a problem. Why is there so many people who want to have these dumbass conversations? Come together, forgive Pookie, normalize Keisha. We all come together. We all join hands and just walk into the sunset. There is no track record of that ever working. You got to separate from these people. Because they're trying to keep you joined in with a group of people that you're clearly not a part of. But that's what we got going here. You have to leave this stuff behind. You should be proud as a man to want the burden of production. You should want to be responsible for how this thing ends up. You cannot look to free other people who don't care about you with your own freedom. This is not your burden. This is their burden. I can go back home right now and I can look at the men who are 70 something years old, who was 50 something years old, doing the same stuff when I was growing up. The same people. They just stayed in the same place. They're not your responsibility. This is why I have a problem with these people coming into our space. I don't run anything around here. I'm just going to point out the things that I see so that way you can see them too. You ought to know what it feels like to not have this struggle nonsense as part of your DNA. Because when you go out of your way to bring people to your place, you don't understand that those people are at the height of where they are in their place, where they currently are. They don't want to come to where you are because they have no position in power where you are. That's why they want to stay where they are. Because they have the most voice where they are. That's why they never left those environments. Because they maxed out and level where they are. They don't want to turn around and compete with the dominant society. They just want to complain about them. Hold on a second. But that's the position that we're currently in. What's going on, Aegon? That's where we're at. And so this is why these people are here, trying to reset the conversation. Because now is the time to act. Not a time to be circling the wagons. Not a time to be doing any of that other stuff. And this is what the black male independence bullshit is. It's a Trojan horse. Because it looks the same. It has the same type of position. They're not criticizing Pookie. They're trying to normalize Keisha. They're trying to put the blame from the individuals who caused the destruction and try to blame it on the government because they didn't have no access to opportunity. It was okay for them to destroy the environment because the government didn't give them a job. This is the same shit. It's the same shit that almost all pro-blacks do. All pro-blacks do this shit. And this is why this stuff has to be done. Of course they do. You had women trying to get the dude's restaurant shut down. There was a group of women who was out there doing that. They want to run your show. That's what they want to do. They don't want to go out there and build it for themselves because she don't respect builders. She respect destroyers. That's what she picked. That's totally fine for her to do that. But now is the time where she actually needs somebody to actually build. And I'm saying this. This is not our responsibility to worry or even care about you. And you just keep it moving from there. That's what these people don't understand. Because you got to remember, order is very foreign to these people. They want you to hand them your resources so that way they can do whatever they want to. They only want you to be a worker class in their kingdom. I thank for the $5 super chat. Uses familiar to red pill saving. Yeah, man, it's like, dude, listen, man. The red pill has been destroyed by all the fakers. That's right. The red pill has been destroyed because people decided to get the truth and then go be a purple pill guy with the actual truth. Like, the red pill was not for you to go be a purple pill guy. A purple pill guy is what your intentions were before you got the red pill. That's the problem. The green pill guys are not red pill either. They're PUAs. What's going on, Gray Machine? You can't sell a subjective experience to somebody not you. You can teach a quarterback how to be an offensive lineman, but he's going to be very bad at being an offensive lineman. But these resets are going to come in with the same talking points over and over again. I'm just telling you this up front. So that way, you don't think I'm just doing things out of turn and I'm just starting stuff with people. I know what these people are doing because they come through dressed the same way with the same talking points. And it hasn't changed. Hasn't really changed at all, has it? But see, you can change it individually. Well, the reason why they didn't like the MGTOW dudes is because the MGTOW dudes was focused, and the other guy wanted to still find an acceptable excuse to chase women. They just wanted more information to do so. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. All philosophies get poisoned by people who do not follow the tenets, and you're willing to have numbers for numbers' sake. Having numbers of people around you who do not believe what you believe is a bad idea. When I was part of the Christian church, it was the same way. The same exact way. All of a sudden, there's a person who has to be accepted amongst the group because they're cool with the pastor. And then the whole thing falls apart. Why? Because you wanted to accept a person because they're them. And that person did not follow the rules of the group. This is why none of this stuff is going to work. But it can work for yourself. It doesn't matter what's going on or what other people's life experience is. You can change this yourself. There's tons of online courses where you can do this stuff, man. You ain't got to be at the bottom. That's a particular problem here. But you got to see this stuff coming, because this stuff is going to be packaged the same way. It's still going to have the same outer shell. It's still going to operate the same way. And this is why this stuff isn't going to work. They got the same associations. Now anybody can just claim that they're pro-black nowadays. No certification, no nothing, no this, no that. It's all personalities now. And if you look at the actual kids, they already get it now. That's a success. It's the people right now who's hell bent on watching these people suffer. They're going to suffer anyway. You just don't need to be there while it's happening. Yeah, man. Yeah. Just wait till you walk across that stage the first time and nobody is there. But everybody wants to benefit once you do walk across that stage. Because once you start focusing on yourself, time slows down for you. And it really speeds up for everybody else. Yeah, it's like, look, if you're at the bottom, it's like this. It's kind of like a coalescence between things. The less you don't have, the more you have to talk. Now, at the bottom, everybody wants to claim that they have stuff while they're at the bottom, because nobody is producing at the bottom, right? That's why there's a hell of a lot more emotionality and feminine speak while you're at the bottom. As you start to produce, you no longer need to talk as much noise about the stuff that you're actually doing once you start actually producing and going to school and doing the things that you should. There are people online I know right now who made way more money than I did. Not necessarily in trucking, but in real estate. You know how many people you see in their live streams? Less than 7 or 8. But they do want to listen if you could present it in the form of a hustle. If you can present it in a form to where they don't have to invest a lot of time and get the maximum result. That's the only way it's respected from a certain group of people. Yeah. They also want the worst people to speak for the group. because they're invested in this non-productive form of masculinity. They're heavily invested in that image. You're right. Nor was statistics. Probably still, I still made a good grade in the class, but it was one of the hardest concepts to kind of reach. That's why I took the class last. To make sure if I was going to graduate, I was going to concentrate on that singularly and by itself. You are to keep it. You're not to share that with other people who don't respect it. And they also don't want you feeling any type of self-worth whenever you have something and they're not benefiting from it. They want you to not feel as human as you are when you do have those independent things of their control. This is why it's vitally important that you understand choice. What's going on, let's be frank. So you have to understand that within this environment, there's no need to watch or respond to the women of the environment not understand the position that they're currently in. That's what the burden of production is about, being responsible for. You can't be concerned about them. They were never concerned about you. And if you want to speak for that group, you let them produce for that group. But you're not part of that group. Link out there since people want to come on. If not, I'm going to go ahead and probably rent me a boat and get out on the water. It's one thing I like more than being on the road is being on the water, man. I really like that. But that's where we are, man. It still is dependent on your singular action to move forward. And they keep wanting to group you into a group where you don't fit. So that way they can drain all of your resources away from you. That's kind of what that's about. They only want you to be a part of a group for how much they can take from you, not how much appreciated you're going to be among their group. No, I'm not going fishing. I just like being out on the water. It's either I'm a kayak or rent a boat. I'm like in northern Michigan right now. So. What's going on, King Sigma? It's been a while. Hey, guys, what's going on, man?
Hey, MLT, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What's up, man? Yeah, man. I was listen, good stream, man. Good stream. It's kind of saddening, you know. I mean, we already know what it is, but it's kind of saddening that basically like a lot of men are at like one of the most advantageous positions they are in like human history, regardless of what they're going through in your life. Like you could really go from like as a your situation, homeless or from dire straits in the span of like, like 2, 3 years and be well on your way. But it's like the mental capacity and the cultural breakdown of like a lot of people's mindsets is going to destroy them. So it's like it's like they in an infinite loop.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, man, like after I came out of homelessness, like the first time, dude, I didn't know how much mentally that took out of me to keep like I understood after being there a week why people stayed homeless because it takes a lot out of you, man.
Yeah, talk
It
about
takes a lot out of
that.
you.
Your life is your job at that point.
Oh man.
And get, I remember you said like when you down in those bad conditions that a cell phone block and a charge cord means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I still have that. The only thing I had to my name was that laptop, that charge phone, and the cord. And
Yeah.
had I not paid my actual phone bill up like a couple of months before I actually went into that situation, dude, I would have been screwed.
Hmm. Man, I need to recalibrate my mind because I'm starting to forget that feeling. Cause I've been like living too comfortable. So I go on my long walks and whatnot. I think like when my daughter goes away for like Christmas, I think I'm going on a long walk and just check out my environment and just see like how bad it gets. You know what I mean? I just to look around myself and be like this could be me if I don't stop.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to take a break out. I come to Northern Michigan a couple of times a year, but I come here for a reason. I come here because I associate like different places in the United States with different times, kind of in my life. Like right now, I'm going on a major transition, moving from what I'm doing now to really going into this real estate thing and farming thing real hardcore, man. And so, I have to go to the places where I was at, like in great transition. You know, um, Whenever I fail hard at something, there's a certain place within the city of Denver that I go to. You know what I'm saying? I don't drive down them streets. I don't do any of that stuff unless I'm feeling a certain type of way because I don't want to be associated with that area. You know what I'm saying? That time. What's going
Mm-hmm.
on, King Sigma? What's going on, Black Torch?
King Sigma
What's
Black
up?
Church,
What's
what's
up?
up?
What's
Hey,
up?
what's up, MOT, Agon, and Black Torch? The chat. You made some very good points, MOT. I think that when people hear black men saying that they're gonna figure this thing out on their own, it's such a foreign concept to this current living generations of black Americans. And I think they don't really fully understand that there are certain black men in their experience, their upbringing, and their environment that know how to get things done with the tools that they have, the tools that are and the resources that are available in the environment, and they've adjusted to that. And they're really truly not looking for a collective to come save them. They're not looking for the hoteps to come save them, and they're not looking for the everyday black woman to come save them. So that's not something they understand, right? Even though in our real life, we know that when your rent is due, when you want something that you want to add to your personal vanity collection of material goods or whatever, if you want it, you're going to have to go get it. You know that in your reality, but that doesn't sound as good. Why? Because most things that you accumulate take some kind of effort, man, and we only see the result of a lot of effort. So a lot of people, they just want to hear something that sounds really, really good, that sounds really, really easy. It sounds easy to say something like black love or the black collective. That's a very pie in the sky kind of general statement, but life happens on a micro level then on a macro level, and they kind of just interplay with each other. But in terms of compatibility, like let's say with a woman, that's not something that the community can bring to you, right? Or a collection of people can bring to you. That's something that deals with your culture, her culture, and the environment that you're in. And currently, in this current culture that's manifested itself over the last 60 years, as we close 2020, you just have a lot of black men who are those that say, I'm going to save myself, that just aren't compatible with the cultural products that come out of the rank and file Black America. That's really what it is. But a lot of people don't want to accept that. They don't want to accept that some black people and some black men really are comfortable doing this thing on their own because from experience they've learned no one's going to help you out when you need help. They only going to come after you already accomplished something and demand your resources and your help.
Facts. Yep. We know that's the case. Hey, MLT, you gonna get into farming? You saw the thing that I sent about the black farmers. They're gonna give 100 and I think it's 50 or 60 acres of land free if the proposal goes in. So anybody's interested in doing farming, and they're gonna teach you how to be a farmer.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, if that thing goes through, I'm gonna quit YouTube and do that.
Oh yeah, that's. Come on, man. You get the crops you can grow on 160 acres. Oh man.
I mean, even 10 acres is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're gonna give you 160 acres. That's phenomenal. The other thing, there's another YouTuber, a black dude's buying like 10 buildings at a time in Baltimore. Real estate dudes. This is the time you get your money together and you buy these buildings because it's going to be all these people going to be out on their ass. This is the time for you to go and buy them buildings.
Yeah, it's a lot of what do you call it? Seller finance real estate going on out there too. So because these people are trying to get rid of the building by leveraging their credit. Rather than just taking an outright loss on it,
Yep, they're all gonna take those real estate losses. So, and this they trying to do it before the new administration gets in. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, guys. This is the time. I've been saving my pennies, wearing 2 or 3 pants for the whole year and a half, just to save up enough money so I can do these things.
Yeah.
MOT, you know the deal. You know these guys. They come with these PhDs and these law degrees, and you know what they're doing. Come on, everybody sees what they're doing. It's ridiculous, and they keep trying to reach change the package, but there's still a crummy toy inside.
And it's like you could never point this stuff out before because you would be considered or deemed a hater. I'm like, man, I don't give a shit about your opinion about what is and what ain't a hater. You quitting ass nigga. Fuck out of here. It's like, they're so interested in seeing people grift off the environment. Like that's a good thing, man. It's not.
Because that's what they're used to. You gotta understand what you offer. And what the group offers is freedom. And sometimes, pushing the man out the cave who's been in the cave all his life it's terrifying. And not really that's why the brothers who went to the military and went overseas, some of them, I know guys in the Philippines that never came back. They said, I'm never coming back.
Yeah,
never.
I mean, like, and it wasn't easy either. Like, walking off the graduation stage with my diploma in hand, giving it to my mother and jumping in that car and going to the military graduation night, that shit wasn't easy either.
Oh, you did it the same day?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. No, I didn't do it the same day. You're better than me. I at least wanted to see my neighborhood before I did it.
Look, man, we played one game of ball at the park, and I was out of there, man. Airport
Okay.
car pulled up, put this fucking cap and gown in the fucking garbage, and I was out. Gone.
The garbage. You didn't even save it.
Yeah.
A lot of military brothers, really ever since the Vietnam War, once they got overseas and they touched down in those different cultures, man, lots of them never came back.
I mean,
Yeah.
shit. I mean, when I was in Germany before I left, like the girl I was dating at the time, father was like, look, you can like desert the military and we'll protect you over here. I got a nice job for you and everything. Like you don't have to go back to the United States.
Were you MOT? Were you in K-Town?
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, yeah, you must have had a ball because I just passed by there and I couldn't believe I was going over to Rota, Spain. Oh man, you guys had a ball in K-Town. I mean,
actually, like I didn't know that there was a National Guard installation that had like a lot of older black men in that area. That's by the base.
oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I didn't know that either because when you're your jurisdiction just isn't the base. It's K-Town and it's some other words I can't say. But you
Yeah,
have to respond to these places and it's like we got a call to go to this place and we're like, what? There was like, how are all these people? I'm like, wait a minute. Is this a National Guard installation? And this shit is like less than 3 miles from the base.
Yep, and that's what I tell guys. And anybody who's been in the Navy or the Marines, you'll know Subic is going to be back in operations, man. I tell you, if you get a job and you get being a contractor, that's the place to be. Subic Bay, the Philippines.
One of the things I don't get, about this back and forth conversation, about, the black male collective, the black female collective, the black male minority, and the black minority is that it just seems to me that it's the same conversation every 3 months that just recycles itself. Even after all the key points have been made, it seems like every 3 months, the talking points just get recycled again. Maybe a new face appears, maybe a new term is applied to it. But it seems to me that it all comes back to like a low-key acceptance of female authority within the black majority. That's what it seems like to me.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Because it's quite simple. You can't change the underlying product if it's fucked up. You can't change it. That's where it is. And they refuse to change the product, but they want you to change to fit the product, which is it's never going to happen.
But I don't see that apply. It's just weird how that's applied though. Like black men, it seems like those that are like pro gynocracy, right? They always find a way to bring it back to black men, as if each black male is not an individual in himself with his own experience, his own personality, his own needs and desires. And that's why I think that it always implodes on itself.
Well,
because you have to play to it. Go ahead, Egon. Go ahead.
I cut you off. Sorry. I cut you
Well,
off.
I was going to say that, like, you have to give people what is to their interest. And just because I was born with dark brown skin in the jurisdiction of the United States of America does not mean that MOT, Egon, and Black Torch and myself have the same agenda in life or the same interests. That might have been true when Black America faced obvious threats as a collective group, when you had Jim Crow, things like that were, the law said, you have black skin, you can't do this or that. Well, that was 60 years ago. In the world now, we're not limited to the United States. You're not limited to your city. You're not limited to your state. But there's still people that are still stuck in that 1960s framework, even though we have 2020 problems that continue to get worse and worse. And depending on how this whole COVID thing goes to close 2020, I don't see it getting easier for the black majority. And I think they should start listening to the individual black male voices, because if you're not playing to what their interest is, you're only marginalizing that group further and further And that's the group that you say that you want within this collective group the most. But you're not offering them anything they can get in the larger market in America or elsewhere. That's what I don't understand. Bring something that people want and they'll voluntarily join. Simple as that.
Well, it's not. I agree with you, but it's not just them. It's a whole bunch of cats that they want to be missed. You know, that's why you keep hearing the same arguments again, because the player, there should only be one side that stays the same. It should be the side that doesn't agree with uh black men moving on. The other side should be coming back with results every year or whatever time, show what they've been doing. But they're coming back because like they want to be missed, and they like enjoy talking to those people. You know, they want they want these women. You know, they want these women, just like how MOT said it earlier when he was talking about like in Black Torch said basically like how a lot of cats are like PhDs and they just gaslighting dudes and stuff like that. Just like how like a lot of pimps and hustler type dudes are coming through this space and getting a lot of reverence. It's the same dudes that went through the right process. They were the same people. They just one just chose a different path. So then when you come along, it's like, yo, why is this dude who basically went through the path of education, who could actually do for himself, taking this approach towards life? Like, I mean, taking or basically gaslighting black men. It's like he was just like them. He was just like them.
Well, I think that will happen to a lot of black men. Like, let's say they get a victory, right? Because the standard is so low, and you know that whole thing with the experiment where the professors had like regular people shock people on the other side, and
yeah, that was evil.
What was the name of that experiment, right? Where they shocked people, and the authority figure just kept telling them, yeah, just keep shocking them, and then the person in their own moral center knew that what they were doing wrong, but because they had the permission of an authority to do it, they felt, oh, I'm just going to go along to get along. And I think that's what happens in the black majority a lot, is that even for the brothers that are called the classic men, some of them still want that validation from that community of people that look like them and that represent their background, which is understandable. That's understandable that you would want to get the recognition from the people that look like you and that have your same experience. But at the same time, the reality is that those people are not there on your worst days. And I heard MOT say that those other people aren't going to be at your college graduation, but they want the rewards and the benefits of all your work after the fact. They want to take credit for all you did, and they're playing on your feeling of like guilt that you may have. And I think that's more present in the 45 and plus kind of demographic, because I know for me, I don't have any guilt about it at all.
Me neither.
I saw the options that were available growing up in my community. I saw how family reacted to the person that was doing, criminal shit versus the person that was living a square life. And it was always more of a feeling of guilt and empathy for the criminal minded than there were for those that were doing the straight and narrow, which used to shock the hell out of me that more people would go to like the prison release than the college graduation of a relative. That used to shock me. But then I understood that it's a mirror effect, right? Like the person that chooses the square path in a bad environment represents smarter, more efficient decision making. And what happens when you grow up in an environment of people with low expectations, you kind of end up indirectly being a mirror to the decisions that they didn't make, and they don't like that, which is understandable. You see what I'm saying? Because they see you as like, you ain't no better than them. You just made better decisions, which makes them feel really bad on the inside, and you make it hard for them to escape their own conscience. And
I gotta stop you on that one. They keep they keep drowning that into my head as a kid and as an adult. Oh, you're not better than anybody. No, I am. I'm sorry. I am. That's the thing we gotta stop letting them get to our heads like that. We're different than they are.
See, I don't think so for me. Well, that might be true for you, but I'm talking about my own family. That's what
just because I was upset when I was growing up, and they had coming home parties for jail for Pookies in my family.
I saw the same thing.
And then I was like, what the fuck? I'm going to school. Hello?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. King Sigma, I want to show you something.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to let me know whether I'm off about this clip. Aegon, King Sigma, it's called the Milgram shock experiment.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yes. I looked it up and I posted a link to it in the chat
Okay.
about that. So people need to understand that when you have new people come to this space, this outcome is not going to change. So I want to show this real quick to King Sigma. I don't think he's seen it before. Hold on a second.
And play the hyena clip. That is Mike V said, because that's his classic.
Can I say something real fast, MOT, before you
Yeah,
start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Both the you guys' point, King Sigma and Black Torch, I just think it's a human thing. Most people, after a culture is established, most people can't betray that culture. Because for us, because we on the minority side of the game, where basically you guys are talking about the same thing, and Black Torch talk about how it affected him, and King Sigma, you talk about how it didn't, but you both chose to do the right thing. But basically, there is something there that basically we all saw this destructive culture, and we chose to go the other direction. And most of our people don't. They don't go the other direction. They basically go with it. And then basically most humans don't have the capacity to say, I'm done with this, I'm moving on to something else, because basically that culture becomes a part of them and they don't want to throw it away.
See, and that's why I'm saying that's why me and Black Torch fall on a different path, because for me, I was raised by those people, right? Like I had criminal-minded people that raised me, and they made sure that I stayed out of that shit. They didn't want me to get involved in criminal activity because they accepted the consequences of their actions. So for me, I just see it differently. At a young age, I knew I wasn't about to do 10 years in prison for the opportunity to go slang $100,000 of cocaine, buy a nice car, have a couple thoughts, and then do 10 years and have the courts garnish everything and then auction that shit off. I'm talking about like at a really young age, I saw this because my my family, they didn't hide things from me. And they wanted me to go visit relatives in prison and let me know, like, look, you have a choice here. I'm not going to force you to do anything. But if you go down this path, you've had a lot of uncles and a lot of relatives destroy their lives taking that path. And for me, I was like, I'm good. Mom, buy me a basketball. I'm going to basketball practice.
But whatever one King Sigma, there's like 20 other cats that did the opposite of that. I mean, you just listened. A lot of you went against, like basically you went on some do as I say, not as what I do, and you actually listen and it benefits you, which it should have. But most people don't. You know, they're like, this is the culture. I don't give a fuck what you're saying. I'm doing what y'all doing. I'm hitting the block. I'm doing this dumb shit too. And they don't. It takes them so long to get out of it that they get stuck into it. So that's why I said that you and Black Torch basically took the same path. And they said it still bothers. I mean, it bothers some of us. You know, like basically,
there's nothing wrong with that, Egon. The fact that you guys have a different path, we're getting to the same place where ultimately,
right.
That's where the separation of the cultures comes from. Because I'm not going to be able to fit into that environment that I was raised in anymore because my values changed, my experience got global, and my own, interpretation of the environment is different. So I cannot even function with those people that come from that lower level because we're just not the same. Our outlook is not the same. Our values are not the same. Our goals are not the same. I can only function with people that come from a cultural standpoint as I do. It doesn't matter if Aegon or Black Torch got there by going that way, or I came this way. We got to the same position, and we're trying to build something different going forward and connect with cultures that relate to us. That's why, for me, I don't get caught up in this whole, well, my skin is dark, whatever, because I come across people from all ethnic groups and class stratifications that I relate to. So I'm not about to cheat myself. You got to be insane in the short time that we have on this earth to be beholden to a group of people that continuously worship everything that happens to come down from the white dominant society. They're not trying to change anything. They're not. They like the environment just like it is, and they actually have a relationship with the white dominant society that keeps that thing going. Both sides are getting what they want. The only people that are getting lost are those that think like us. We're the ones that get lost in the shuffle by talking about we're going to go back to that environment and change it and do this. Guess what? You're going to get ran out of there just like the people from the Black Men 300 or the Brothers Keepers or whatever, because you're the one breaking the code of that environment. You're better off going somewhere else and creating a new environment and putting a wall up and saying, y'all stay over there, we'll stay over here. And just that's the best thing to do.
I agree, but every time every time we do that or we attempt to do that, the words come out. Oh yeah, you guys, you're trying to separate yourself, and I said yes, we are trying to separate ourselves, and that's the problem. I said until we as a group say okay, yeah, we're different from them, so let's act like that. And that's what I'm saying. I said we need to start acting like that. I don't even associate with them anymore. I don't even talk to them.
Neither do I. I don't work with these people that think like that. I might play basketball with them, see them at the barbershop, and little things like that. But generally, the interests just aren't the same, man. I don't have this commitment to the rank and file ABW because I know in my own experience, every time I go out somewhere, I see ABW throwing themselves at white men. I see it all day long, and I'm like, damn.
Did you see?
They don't have to meet no standard. They don't have to meet any standard at all. But they will get the best. Go ahead.
Did you see the clip of the 2 cops that got shot in Louisiana, and the black woman was crying over the 2 white cops that got shot, and she wouldn't even have cried if it was a black person that got shot.
Yeah, well, I was just reading about a white dude who killed a black woman that he was dealing with just to teach her a lesson, he said. That was unpopular. Just to teach her a lesson. So what I'm saying is that the standard by which the American black man is measured by those that claim to have his best interest, that never had his best interest, it's on some Mount Olympus type shit. But then you notice that the same group that wants to hold you to that standard, they don't hold any other man to any kind of standard. And once I started to see that more and more in my own environment, I just realized, why are you investing time into a group of people that don't give a shit about you? Let's just be honest. The rank and file black majority does not give a shit about you as an individual black man. And I accept it. I'm cool with it. And I'm not going to stress myself trying to save someone that has all the tools. MOT mentioned the fact that you can learn anything on the internet right now. Right now, I'm taking a certification course through Coursera. But I'm doing it on my own. No one said go do this. I'm doing it because I wanted to learn a new skill that I don't have. So anyone today that wants to apply themselves, do you understand how many free resources there are out there?
Yeah.
I mention it all the time. Google is giving free training to become a project manager, first line a tech responder. And Udemy has courses for $9. You can learn to become a Amazon architect, solutions architect for $9.
There you go.
And people can't tell me they don't want. I look at them like they're crazy. I said, for $9, you know how much I spent for my college years? Oh,
they should refund you for your college years at this rate. I think they need to give someone like you a refund on that degree, because it's crazy how this stuff is free today, man.
I spent, I have a bachelor's and a master's degree, so it's crazy. I spent so much money, but it was worth it. But I'm just saying that today they ain't got, and you don't even need a degree. They're hiring at Apple, Google, Amazon with no degrees, so there's no excuse, none.
That's a fact. That's
hold on a second. Welcome to the panel. Let me play this real quick because this is the eventual outcome, even though these are animals. But I just want you to see that when people come to the space, recycling the conversation, they're not trying to stop a very specific thing. So how does Rod think for the 10? I think maybe that's British pounds.
That's pounds.
It's a shame that your community values trash more than gems, and other groups value snatch gems out of your community. Yeah, it's the way it is, man. But at the end of the day, you're not the only person who feels this way or who sees this. But let me play this real quick because I don't think King Sigma has seen it. But this is This is how black boys are raised within the environment.
Hi, this is Kate from Minute Earth. And this is Scarface, one of the hyenas I studied in Kenya. And like all male spotted hyenas, his life sucks. Babyhood is actually the pinnacle of a male hyena's life. Itty-bitty cubs of both sexes rank just below their moms, who make up the entire top of the clan's social hierarchy. So cubs have decent access to food, sleeping spots, and everything else. But male cubs' glory days are short. Females generally don't like mating with males from the clan they grew up in. It's probably nature's way of avoiding inbreeding. So once males turn 2 or so, they leave their clan and strike out on a lonely, dangerous search for a clan with better mating prospects. Lots of other mammalian males do the same thing. But for them, the transition to a new group is an opportunity to challenge high-ranking individuals and increase their social standing. Not so for male hyenas. They endure aggressive hazing by the new clan before even being allowed to join. And once a male does gain acceptance, he becomes the very lowest ranking hyena in the pecking, or bone-cracking order. The tastiest food rarely makes its way down to him, and there's no way to move up the social hierarchy besides simply waiting, either for new males to join the clan below him, or for males ahead of him to die. No adult male will ever top a single female, resulting in a female-dominated hierarchy. This is all weird. Unlike most mammals, male hyenas are subordinate to females, which is probably because, unlike most mammals, female hyenas are bigger and meaner than males, which is probably thanks to their need to stand up for their offspring in this kind of crazy feeding frenzy. And, unlike pretty much all mammals, physically fit or socially capable individuals can't make their way to the top of hyena society to do most of the decision and baby making. They're the only social mammals we know of with such a rigid hierarchy, and we don't yet know why. We do know the outcome, though. Male hyenas like Scarface end up plagued with injuries from harassment and hazing, endure prematurely worn down teeth from eating too many bones, and on average only live half as long as females do. The best they can hope for is that, at the end of the day, they'll have left behind a few cubs, which is not the best for the ones that turn out to be males.
Damn, it's like they wrote history within 30 minutes to explain the last 60 years of black majority, bro.
sounds like my hood.
Man, I'm talking about. It only took them like 90 seconds to break down the state of the black majority since 65, man.
Hey, what's going on, Ago?
Yeah, it was going on. Can you?
What's up, Ago?
It was
Yeah,
going on. Yeah. To a large extent, this is about black men getting organized and moving in very organized, developed groups. That's what you got to do. There's not really a much of an answer to that, but that. And that's why most guys that come onto the YouTube streets or many other streets as well start complaining and complaining about shit not going right because you're not doing work. So if that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. If you don't get the work together, you don't start doing that. Shit ain't gonna make any changes. If you think you're gonna sit here and change this female by complaining about it, it's not gonna fucking happen. All right, it's just not. It's kind of a power perspective. Once again, down in Georgia and so forth. I got my frat boys, my alpha boys, because Warnock, he's an alpha. He's going for the Senate, but we got brothers out there registering people like crazy. But the sisters out there fucking tearing it out the frame as well. And if you think that they're not going to get their piece of the pie because they're not involved, you're crazy. So at the end of the day, that's what you have to do. Get organized and move. That's the only thing. That's the only choice that you're going to have. Can't complain about a lot of this stuff out here also. Like I said, with him to get Udemy training and so forth, Ubuntu and all this stuff is a few dollars an hour, if you will. You can pay for it. The millennial generation is a generation coming up with the greatest level of information available to them that of any generation that's ever existed. Okay, I hear guys, boomers and all this. Fuck your boomer shit. At the end of the fucking day, boomers have kicked some ass. You got to do the same goddamn fucking thing, and you got to get up in this game and start to fucking cut a nice big swath for yourself. You got to get this information. Got to get in on this information game. You got to go hard about that. Be very serious. And for those who are very serious about it are gonna make it. Those who are not, fuck it, you finished. That's it. That's just how it goes. You know what I mean? It's just like I look at my daughter. Here she is. She's a millennial, and she's counting on dad to consistently give her money to take care of her. To take care of the mistakes she makes. I told her, listen, no more of that. I ain't sending no more money. I'm not doing anything else like that. You got your job, you know, if you're not good with your gig and things not going right, then hey, listen, you got to start making better decisions. You're 26 years old, going on 27. You're my youngest kid. All right. At the end of the day, you better step up to the fucking plate and start making your own moves now. Okay, you can't count on daddy to constantly, you know, send you over, you know, kite you over some cash to fucking cover your ass. With all this information out here and everything that's going on, you got a degree, you're rolling. You expected me to keep paying for you? Not gonna happen. So, you know, so I'm cutting the titty off, titty off, titty cut off. So it's cut off, it's cut off, it's cut off. So that's it. So at the end of the day, if you're not coming out here, just like we talk about on the with the Brain Trust, we're on this fourth industrial revolution, of which we've been running 24/7 right now, dropping an information dump for that ass. So you niggas can wake up and see truly what's going on. Fuck the dumb shit. Tired of the crap. Tired of listening to this bullshit that's coming on out here and this generational crap. Boomers and X's and blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Get your ass up in the middle of this game. Get your ass on this information stilo and start to make some opportunities out here. For those who are sitting back here, scratching their balls, waiting for this fucking cracker to sit back here and fucking get your bitch in line, you're a dead man. You're a dead man. You ain't gonna survive. All right? All right? That's the fucking bottom line. This crack ain't fucking getting this bitch together, getting your bitch together for you. Ain't gonna happen. Okay, you wanna sit back here, you wanna look like these hyenas, then you be one of them little fucking runt ass fucking males dying like a fucking rat in a fucking group of fucking bitch ass.
Damn,
a group of bitches and you stop praying. Fuck you. All right? At the end of the day, if you're gonna survive, you better step up to the motherfucking plate. Brothers better organize and make fucking moves. That's the only game in town. There's no other game in town. Get this fourth industrial revolution game. Start looking at the Brain Trust fucking all the drops we did. Information dump for that ass. Start to learn some of what's going on there. Black Torch can sit here and tell you what time it is. All right, he can tell you what time it is. It's a boomer, the boomers, the Gen Xers. You can keep talking that shit. You'll rot in the fucking corner. All right. So fuck you. You ain't on top of that. Okay. The brothers who are sitting back here ready to get live on the information and moving aggressively towards it are making moves. Those who are not are sitting back crying, getting torn out the frame like them sucker-laid fucking hyenas up in that motherfucker. All right. That's where you're at in this. That's
we moved beyond. We've moved beyond.
All right. I'm sorry to throw so hard, but it is what it is. All right, go ahead, guys.
We've moved beyond the boomer thing, though, because, like, you know, with the 2008, 2010 recession and then having this COVID come through, that's almost like a moot point. And you're on your own at this point. Like, you either got the resources now and are building them up during COVID while, you know, you can save money and ready for 2021, or you probably going to get left behind, and that's just on you. When you said the whole thing about, like, waiting for these white men to get the black woman in line, that's insane. That don't even make any sense, because a lot of the reason that the black women are in a position that they are now is because the white powers that be, like that they play a dysfunctional role within those black environments. They're actually working together. They're not. How would it benefit them if they wanted to get the black woman in line when that would undermine their power? Anything that keeps black men, which start off as black boys, in a powerless position is going to be supported by non-black American groups, because, again, we provide an opportunity for other groups to get ahead in America by using us only every 4 years. Politicians come along from all these different parties asking for your vote only to help other people and do nothing for you. So there ain't no reason why the white society would change anything when it comes to the black female, because, again, her dysfunction enriches them politically, economically. If you didn't have so many dysfunctional black women choosing dysfunctional black men out there, would you have as many prisons out there? No. Would you have as many police officers, correctional officers, inner city teachers? No. So that ain't gonna happen. Anyone waiting for that shit to come in, you are delusional.
You're out of your fucking mind if you're gonna sit back here and think these guys are gonna do it for you. All right, my fraternity brother Wynock is down there in fucking Georgia. They're shutting down more of the fucking voting places to vote because they don't want your ass in here fucking voting and grabbing hold of power. That's the zero-sum game they're playing. They're shutting down with all this going on. They're shutting down all the rest of it. Now, my illustrious frat Alpha Phi fraternity, all our brothers are sitting out there getting registered out there in the streets, rolling like fucking out there like Genghis Khan and his crew, register motherfuckers like there's no tomorrow, right? And now they're knocking on doors like fucking crazy. My undergraduate chapter over there got fucking 15 G's from the fucking campaign to get out here and get these young undergraduate brothers out here registering people and knocking on doors. Okay, they're out here organizing like a motherfucker because they understand what the power game is all about. All right, and then Stacey Abrams all the way crew, they're like, oh, look at these brothers, they rolling. Let's make sure we get down with them. They rolling. They understand what time it is. This is the fucking game you're in. You motherfuckers sitting back here, scratching your fucking nutsacks, sitting back here, laying up on your asses, talking about, get away from me. You're a dead man. You're a fucking dead man.
Nagone, you know.
I'm just going to say this. You're a dead man. Fuck you. Bury your ass in the fucking ground. Let the maggots crawl through your fucking skull bones. Fuck you. You're gone. You're gone. Okay, I can't help it.
Damn, Nagone.
At this stage of the game, this is about you getting organized, making hardcore moves, brothers starting to really fucking vibe together. That's the only game you got in town. There ain't no other game. If you're sitting here waiting for one, white boys are fucking getting together playing a zero-sum game. They don't believe in democracy. They don't believe in freedoms the way you believe in them. They don't look at the same way for you. That's the game. You think this black female is gonna sit back here and pull you up because you're out here because you got a big dick and you want to fucking you're some unique man or something else like that?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Man, you just heard a lot of Madden King feelings, man.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, damn, Nagone. Well, who pissed you off this morning?
No, because I'm sitting here looking at this Georgia shit. I'm talking to my frat boys, and I'm seeing how these guys are clamping down. They don't believe in democracy for you. You're in a system that don't believe in democracy.
They never believed in democracy.
And you guys are sitting down here complaining about these bitches, and they're out here registering 800, 900,000 motherfuckers, and you said, these bitches, get them in line. Get the fuck out of here. Do you understand the game you're in? Do you motherfuckers understand where you are?
They don't understand the game they're in. That's the problem. And when you try to educate them.
Hold on a second, Torch. And they crying about shit? Yo, you got whack niggas up in here sucking the dick of this cracker that's looking to tear you out the frame. And these niggas looking crazy and then they get mad because we're calling them out. You fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you niggas know what's going on out here? These griffin sucker lades out here.
Nah, they don't really understand that same black woman that they complain about.
Connections and all this shit. Shit is crazy. Niggas wake up.
There you go.
Let me tell you something. Your ass is in the crosshairs. And they're looking to fucking your fucking wig. You've got no fucking other opportunity. There are no other choices but to fucking play the most hardcore game you can play. That is it. That is it. I'm cutting my motherfucking daughter off. That's where I'm at. No more fucking $300-400 fucking bucks a week for me. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck up out of here, man.
Dang it.
Get the fuck up out of here.
That's fine.
There is a simple way out of this.
Oh, wait, hold on. Welcome to the panel of Black Wolf. Big Tower. What's going on, man?
How you doing, man? Tomorrow I had to come in because you were talking about something that I previously talked to one of my god kids about, and he was like, "Oh, Black Wolf, why aren't you worried about anything?" And I was like, "You see all these guns I have in my?" Because he asked me why I have so many guns. I was like, "Just in case." And I just outright had to explain to him that. Well, and I guess something else I want to kind of throw out here on the stream. Half of the problem he was talking about is cultural. The other half is societal. And I'm just going to outright say it. Black people do not separate themselves from their idiots, unfortunately. Most just won't do it. Most won't do it. And I don't know if that's born out of some weird sense of camaraderie, but like it's I don't understand why anyone would consider some of these people to be allies, considering they do everything in their power to try to fucking destroy you and shit along with everybody else. And I had to, what I explained to my god kid, I said, okay, do you see Rich Chad over there? You see his house? He said, yeah. I said, do you think he goes down and hangs out the trailer park? He said, no. I said, do you want to know why? He doesn't associate with him. That's the thing. And as fucked up as it is to say, there's some people you can't help. They have to want to be helped. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And the thing about with black women as well, the big mama culture needs to die because this is fucking ridiculous. I mean, I lived out in the woods for the longest
It
fucking
ain't
time.
gonna die.
It needs to
It
die.
ain't dying, dude.
It'll never die, but it needs to die.
I gotta agree with Nagone on
It
that
needs to
one.
die. How you gonna make that happen?
It's
The name
not
of the
gonna
game is-
happen.
You can talk about all that. What are you gonna do to shut that down? If you count on Cracker to make that happen for you, you're in a fucking dream world. If you're gonna sit back
That's
here and
the
expect
thing.
them, sit back here and wait for you, and wait for
That's the thing. There's no waiting.
to
Like
accept them. Forget about it.
that is the thing. There's no waiting.
agree
Just
with Nagone.
separate yourself from those bitches. That's the thing. If someone, it's like a kid. If a kid's gonna act up, don't give them attention anymore. Don't waste your time on them. But you have these dudes, the Chads and Tyrones, and all these simps running around here trying to, procreate and wife up every chick like street whoop bitches. And the thing about it is, if you don't give it attention and you don't pay attention to it, and you don't invest time, money, and energy, it'll kill itself. It'll play itself out.
I think a lot of that's just hype though, because think about it. In real life, most black people with their shit together don't associate with black red. Now, let's be honest. You got to understand that the social media thing and what you see on internet, a lot of that's about like generating drama and chaos that can bring in money. But in real life, most of these people, if you ask them, do you want to move next door to a group of black rednecks? They'll be like, no, they're not going to do it. So in real life, even when you just look at the information that's out there about, economic data, it shows that black people, when they get enough money and enough know-how to move around, they know to move around and knew not where not to associate with. But online, it's kind of like blurs the lines because you get people that in real life would never associate with each other at all. And people say things because, again, it gets them, popularity or whatever. But if you were to look at their real life, they're not applying that shit in the real world. Most black people who are middle class and above are not trying to live next door to black redneck, just like most white people who are middle class and above are not trying to live next door to what they call white trash. So a lot of that shit is online stuff, man.
I agree.
Can I say
I
this?
completely agree.
I just want to say this very quickly, all right? I know I came here tearing shit out the frame. MOT want me to chill. I'm going to chill a little bit because I think it has to be straight, all right? I'm going to say this straight up. I've listened to a couple of black people out here who are supposed to be degreed, even in the tech industry, supposed to be very smart. I'm not talking about anybody here. This is Xing anybody here. But some other brothers who I've served in the space and other places who erudites, talking intelligently, and are proposing some of the most self-destructive shit I've ever seen. Some of the most self-destructive shit I've ever seen. And they talk well and good. Then I've listened to a couple of black rednecks, if you will, splitting verbs and everything else like that, sounding a little bit, talking a little bit crazy, but yet their thinking is straight. They see exactly what's important out here for their interests. And their interests coincide with yours. But they may not talk right. Their class game may not be up to you, but yet they're thinking straight. Who am I going to side with? An individual who looks good, talks real well, but yet is putting me in a situation where he's going to walk me right into a fucking a place where the turkeys get their heads cut off, and next thing you know, they put you on the table to fucking feed you, to feed their people on. Am I going to go with that? Or am I going to go with the person who is actually talking straight and thinking straight? What I'm going to tell you is, let's get past some of this class thing a little bit. We're going to have to get past some of this, and we're going to have to look at who's thinking along the same lines that are going to work our interests.
That class thing is going to forever be in.
Oh, but before you cut me off, that's where we need to start thinking. All right, because I'm not trusting some of these people out here with PhDs. I'm a guy who's educated, but a lot of the cats out here are educated, and some of the stuff I hear from some of these people is shocking. It's terrifying.
Right.
And it shows.
Yeah, I can roll with that.
I completely agree.
Leave it out there for
I would say that the standard that I use and that I think is best, not so much like the class thing, but is what someone saying and doing constructive, and does it produce good results? I look at it more from that standpoint. Like, does it produce?
Well, that's what we're talking about.
That's what you have to look at.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to look at.
That's why when me and Black Torch were talking earlier, and I was talking about my family specifically, I kind of just keep it in that perspective. Because what you do individually, culturally, amongst people like you, I'm fine with that. But if I'm gonna engage with you, it's going to have to be to my self-interest. It's going to have to be constructive, and it has to produce good results. I don't care how we get there, but as long as it's producing constructive and productive results, I'm with it anytime.
That's what I was
well,
saying.
like I said, I listened to this spot. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go.
I was just saying I completely agree with you, and he said exactly what I wanted to say. I'm not trying to measure values based off of who's rich, who's poor, or anything like that. I'm merely saying that if something isn't yielding results, then just drop it. Okay, if the women don't want to act right, then fuck it. But that's the thing. When I always hold on to belief, let evil kill itself. I mean, you can go over there and slay it, but eventually it'll run itself down. And once you just completely isolate it like a virus, it can't go anywhere. So leave people who aren't going anywhere alone.
Let me ask you a question. When you're in a country that's full of evil and pays well for evil, how are you going to shut that down? See, I keep asking.
I would isolate myself from it.
I've never got an answer. Okay. You can educate yourself. All right.
I would isolate myself from that, and I guess it's kind of bias coming from me, but I'm the type of person that's perfectly comfortable living in the middle of the woods by himself, even in the mountains, because I hate mainstream society. So I guess it's kind of my own bias getting thrown in there. But that's one of the reasons I don't live up in the city. I don't like the culture. I don't like what the average person does, and therefore I don't want those people near me because I live in freaking clown world.
People are moving on you as a group. But you're there as an individual, and people are moving there on you as a group. You got to read Sun Tzu, The Art of War. You guys have not read it. It is imperative.
I've read the books of war.
Too. Definitely read him, yeah.
Because they're running the art of war on you right now, and you don't seem to see it. Most of us don't seem to see that. They don't seem to see it. Anyway, I'm done.
To answer Nagon's question, okay. There's a couple of things you can do. One, if you're going to stay in America, you got to find your own community and be with like-minded people, or you do like what I'm gonna do. As soon as I'm finished with my schooling, I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
Those are the only two options.
I would add this to what Black Torch is saying. I would say this: how we define the group. I think that's where a lot of this conflict comes in. Because you can define the group broadly, or you can define it more narrowly, right? And I think that's where a lot of this conflict comes in. Because some people just want to say the group is anyone that's descended from an American slave. We all the same. No, we're not.
No. That's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying.
You're saying. No. I know you're not. I'm saying that's what a lot of people say. I know you're not.
Yeah, I'm never going to say that.
I know you're not saying that, but I'm saying no. A lot of people believe that, though. They just want to have it like this person is defined as white, this person is defined as Latino, this person is descendant of slave, this person immigrant. That's how they want to define it. But that's not how things operate in an average person's life. They're judging things by what's going on every day that they're engaging in their own individual life. And that's where the like-minded thing is. I like to define the group by those people that engage me, that offer something constructive and productive to my life. I don't care what walk of life you come from. If you're giving me information that's going to help me to meet my daily goals and my long-term goals, then we have something to talk about. If not, we don't have anything to talk about. That's how I define the group.
Okay, but to answer Nagon's question, he's right, because even if you try to isolate yourself in a group here, that other group will try to come and sabotage the group. That's why I think, the more I think about it, the only way you can do it is move out this country and find and because it's all about your genetics. It's not about the group genetics that don't give a fuck about you. It's about your genetics. So you go someplace where you can fit in and define yourself. I mean, it's not happening here. I'm sorry, it's not.
I just see, but based on the measurement that you're using, I feel like it can be applied here in America because Black men do it every day. Like you said you got to go somewhere outside of America to find a place where you fit in. But what I'm saying, there's a lot of Black men that feel that they fit in here in America because they found like a niche that works for them. Is all I'm saying. And I'm one of those. I don't feel like I have to go to another country to fit in. I can go, and you should go into other countries, but here in America, there are some brothers that have found positions in life that they're cool with, whether they're here or everywhere, because they don't see themselves as just a citizen of the United States or a citizen of their city. They're global with it. Anywhere I go and I find like-minded people, that's my group on that given day. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and what I'm saying is, as hold on, Nago, and I just want to say one thing. All right, I didn't really understand what being an American is until I left this country. When I left America, that's when I got all the rights and privileges of an American. You don't get it here in America. I'm sorry, you don't. You don't get it. They don't treat you equal. We don't have equal protection under the law. We don't have, in some areas, we don't even have the if you go to some parts of the country, you don't even have the economic freedom to do what you want to do. You can't even buy a house where you want to. You can't do it. But I'm telling you, when I went overseas, I was the first time I felt like an American. And that's all I got to say about that.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
I'm going to say this very quickly.
Represents.
I'm going to say this very quickly. All right. You have, in order to understand how the game is played, you got to know what game you're in. I'm going to repeat this. In order to understand how the game is played and how you're going to play it, you got to know what game you're in. I respectfully submit most of you Nickos have no idea of the game you're in. You don't know the game you're in. Okay? Some of us who have figured this out, I understand it. I have deciphered this motherfucker clearly. Most of you don't know the game you're in. You walk around talking about being an individualist in a society that is literally crystallizing against you. You're crazy. If you're going to sit around here in this country and walk around and think that you're a unique guy and they're going to make it with you and 2 or 3 other people, and some of these grays are going to accept you, and you got it, and you've got a whole society of tens of millions, to hundreds of millions, literally crystallizing against you. You don't understand the game you're in. In order to understand how the game is played, you got to know what game you're in, and that I'm gonna leave it at that.
And that guy Robert Smith, one of the richest black men in America, he's the richest black man. He even said he gets pulled over by the police. He still gets Robert Johnson, the guy who sold BET. They wouldn't even let him into a 5-star hotel, and he's a billionaire. So I don't get how you can say that people found their niche here. You can make money here, but you can't really live here. See, that's the difference between living. Let me finish. There's a difference between living and existing and surviving. And black people, we're good at surviving, but we haven't learned to live yet because we haven't been able to here. And that's all I got to say.
See, what I would say is that I can't speak for 40 million black Americans. I just can't. I'm not willing to do that. And I get what you're saying, but here's what I'm trying to say is that some people have made do with the environment as it is, and they're not seeing things the way that maybe you see it. And you make some good points. There's definitely a lot of redlining that goes on. We know what the racial terrorism is, but what I'm saying is that if you're gonna take 20 million, let's say every black man gets on what Black Torch is saying, where is the place that you're gonna take 20 million black men? Let's say tomorrow. They say, you know what, Black Torch is right.
No. You get me wrong. It's not for everyone. This road is not for everyone. But it's all it takes because it's 85% of us are not going to do anything but stay here. It's going to stay here. That's it.
This is why it helps to have options. For me, I'm a bit of a Darwinist in this sense.
Hold on. You got something going on.
Hey, Black Wolf, your mic's still messing up.
Ah, damn it. Hold on.
And that's all I'm saying. It's not for all of us.
But then it kind of goes back to more of an individual small group thing.
Let me say this real quick. I tell you what, if 15 million of us sat down and opened up a black bank account and put $150 to $200 in there, that would go a long way in changing a lot of shit. I know y'all don't even understand what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, we understand.
it would go a long way. It ain't gonna solve all your problems. Go a long way. Go a long way. All right. It would. I hope some of y'all understand what I'm saying.
Is it better now?
It's still crackling a little bit. Yeah.
Damn. Power of the old ass mic. Sorry about that. I gotta buy a new one.
Now it's better.
Yeah.
Now we can hear you good.
Yeah. Whatever happened is better now. So.
Oh, okay. I just changed to the Snowball. I was using Rock Band mic. So sorry. What I was trying to say is, as mean as this is to say, I've always been more of a bit of a social Darwinist in the sense to where I understand, like, what everyone's saying. It's good to have options. That's all I'm really saying. That the art of war is good, but I kind of take the Musashi approach to it. If it's out of my scope, out of the mountains, out of the woods, there's nothing I can do about it. But until it gets within my proximity, then I can handle it. I wait for a problem to become a problem before I actually handle it. If it's a problem from a distance, then I let it be from a distance. And that's probably not the best way to go about it, but you kind of have to wait and see before you start taking on drastic actions. And not everybody will get there. I understand that not everybody can live like me. Not everyone thinks like me. I'm not even saying that my way is the golden rule or anything like that. I'm merely saying that it works. And if I have to arm myself to keep from dying, I will. And if I die, I die. At the very least, I put up a good front to defend myself. And as far as option goes, people could either leave the country, to which many people have, and they said it's been an upgrade the first time they ever felt like an American, or they could stay and try to find some small area of peace and try to live their life, but they're not going to make it trying to, play martyr and savior to everybody. It's not going to work. I tried that and it got me hated, like viscerally hated by everybody. I tried it, but it just didn't. You can't save everybody.
I think
sacrifices need to be made.
I think what Black MGTOW is going on, for me, it's like, I think a lot of Black men, what they've done is similar to what Black MGTOW done. They've been able to find solutions in their individual life that work, right? People are going to go with the solution that they know works. So if someone in their individual life finds something that works for them, then they're going to stick with that until someone can find something that's a grander scheme that can be applied to hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people. Now, going back to Black Bank, when you go study some of the Black banks and the Black insurance companies, we've had those companies. And we've even had projects recently where some people opened up a Black bank or a Black insurance company, but for whatever reason, they went out of business really quickly. It's not the first time that someone's tried to open up a Black bank. So the question becomes, why do these Black banks that get opened, why do these Black trusts and Black insurance that get opened with the goal of having a Black bank, why do they end up dissolving so quickly? What happens to them? We need to get to that root of the problem. Why do they have a good idea? We're going to get this Black bank going. We're going to get our investors in here. Why hasn't someone in the Black finance industry solved that problem of why won't a big enough population of Black people continuously support those Black banks? What happens to them? What happened to the Black banks?
Yeah. What happens to the Black banks? I can tell you right now, what happens to the Black banks is Black people do not invest in themselves. Y'all sit around.
Your mic's kind of low, your mic's kind of low.
Yeah, I said the black people do not put their fucking interest in themselves. Start putting interest in yourselves, it'll change. I see all these Negroes talking about this, that, and the third, and they don't invest in themselves. You start, like I said, 15 million Black people. Put $150, $200 in a Black bank. You will start looking at some changes in your community. You'll start looking at some changes. How do you get to that point? I see a lot of people talking. That's the shit. That's the shit I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that right now. I think you brought up a good point because we need to have a discussion right now. Like, okay, we've had all these Black banks, and I remember the Wall Street Journal did that article not too long ago about the dying Black banks and how they were struggling to be kept alive. I think last year there were less than 20 Black banks remaining. So we have Black banks out there, and they had support at some point. So what I'm saying is that, what is it about the marketplace where these Black banks that are barely surviving, that are, why are they struggling so much? We still have 20 left. So we don't have to go out and start a Black bank tomorrow. We have about 20 left, and they're dying, and COVID's going to probably take out half of those. So let's say a month from now, we have 10 Black banks. What's stopping the black majority, speaking of, from investing in those banks?
Well, there's not. We have 42 black banks. That's not. I just Googled it. There's 42,
So there's
including credit
42
union.
remaining. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's stopping black people if there's 35 to 40 million black Americans? What's stopping them from investing in those 42 banks right now? What's stopping?
Okay, let me ask you. Why do you not have a black bank account? Ask yourself first.
I could. Oh, that's an easy question to answer. I got my bank account through my job. That was it. I just went with the bank with my job. That was it.
There's a simple solution to this.
That's so for me. I went with the bank that has a deal with my.
That still doesn't answer the question as to how come you don't have a black bank account. That still doesn't answer the question.
That does answer the question. I just told you. I went with the bank through my employer. That's an answer.
No.
I can answer.
That's one bank that you have. How come you don't have an account at a black bank?
Convenient.
Anyway,
I can actually answer this question.
One at a time. One at a time.
Hey, listen.
Is Nagone answering me a question? Yes, you guys. Because I want to answer.
Nagone. We got to move on from this banking topic.
I understand it.
We got to move on from this banking topic.
Do y'all want me to answer the question?
No. Yes. Okay.
I thought he was asking me a question.
No, I mean, you answered the question, so let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah. Okay. I understand what Nagone is saying because of economics. We get that, but the problem is that nobody's going to say, even if you do get that money together, the greater society is still putting pressure on you. Look at this. Look at the current president. What did he do when he got into office? He said a lot of things, and then he weakened the Voting Rights Act against you. He weakened the Fair Housing Act against you. It's a war going on against you. You just don't know it, but it's a war going on, and that's the problem. I don't think after 450 years of us doing the same thing, trying to adjust to this society, it hasn't proved anything. And Einstein said it best: doing the same thing over and over again is crazy. It's insanity.
Not to mention,
we haven't done the same thing though. Sorry. Can I say this real fast, Nicole? I'm saying we haven't done the same thing because we haven't. A certain percentage of black men have been separated as a collective and went for only black male interests. We've always just been like in the background.
You're speaking the truth. Black Torch seems to be the only one here that understands the bottom line. He understands it. You said what? You guys don't understand what's really going on. I'm an older guy. I know what's going on. Fuck that. Well, a lot of us are smarter than you motherfuckers. Why? Because we've been out here a little bit longer. We know what the deal is. We got the dough. Y'all don't. Y'all walking around here fucking crying about y'all ain't got shit. Y'all motherfuckers don't understand the game you're in. Try to explain it to you. You don't want to listen. I asked this young man here, how come you don't have a black bank account? Well, it's because the company that I got.
Nagone.
But I answered. Nagone, I didn't answer the question you wanted me to answer, but I gave you the truthful answer.
Okay, we're not going to go.
I'm not blaming you for anything. Listen to me closely, guys. Listen to me closely. Get up off your sensitive game here 1 second. I'm talking a real deal, bottom line, Lester Thoreauian type of thing. Okay, zero-sum game, baby. You're out of it. At the end of the day, intelligent black men, like this brother here and many others that are here, sit here and are not fully engaging in what's going to really work with our interest the best, but yet we have a lot of complaints. We have to sit back and ask ourselves these questions. How can we help to truly make this situation better for us? We have to truly ask those questions. And some of those answers are tough ones. And we have to look at ourselves. We just have to.
A lot of people aren't willing. A lot of people aren't willing to self-reflect and.
No, the general public isn't. We got to be different. We're not going to go down that road. They're going to not do that. We have to do different. We say we different.
They have an absolute refusal to do that, and not to mention to answer your question from earlier, because I kind of want to draw back on that. When something's already difficult and it's made at an inconvenience, even a logical person isn't going to do it. And I'll give this example. It takes me 20 or 30 minutes to get to the local mechanic, and the other mechanic is almost like an hour, 20 minutes away. I may not like the idiot that I have to go to, but it's better than having to waste the gas to having to drive an extra hour. So it's not in my best interest to piss off that person if I want to get my car fixed.
Okay, but I can counter that if I may. Yeah.
Unless I want to
Well,
order my parts, you're right. I could order a part and put it in myself, but
no, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh,
I was going to say, but okay. I have multiple bank accounts because I don't trust banks anyway. But I have multiple. I have two back black banks because they're close to me. They're walking distance to where I live at.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. But yet I understand because my first bank account was with the company that I was working for, and I understand what King Sigmund is saying. But I just say, when I wanted to buy a home in my neighborhood, uh, I went to the white banks where I had money in, and they gave me a fucked up interest rate. I walked around the court to the black bank where I put money in there, talked to them, and I got a better interest rate. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. I understand both sides, but I'm saying that in the long run, uh, I we all got to make our own individuals things. And I'm telling you, for me, I looked at the greatest society. They are not going to give you a fair shake here. They're not. It's ingrained in this whole culture. And if you think
democracy, they don't even believe in democracy for you. They don't believe in democracy for you.
Well, and MOT says it best. Equal protection under the law. Because if they did that, we wouldn't have all these extra civil rights things. They don't believe in that. And that's the bottom line. They don't believe in that. And anybody who tells you that you get equal protection here, they're the people you need to get the fuck away from as soon as possible.
That's exactly.
Well,
That's
America was never a
one of
democracy.
the few reasons why I fuck with MOT and these other brothers like that. Guys who think like this and say these kind of things. I can fuck with them because then I know where these guys are coming from. Then I know where these guys come from. They have identified what the problem is. You can identify that. I'm sorry, I can't fuck with you. All right. And at the end of the day, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That's where we're at. You're dealing in a society that doesn't care about your own democracy. The key principles that really are supposed to build this nation for you, they don't believe in that for you. And you're talking about getting this together and they're going to do this for you and they're going to do that for you. You're crazy. You're out of your mind.
I don't think that the white dominant society is going to do anything for you, especially with the thing as being as competitive as they are going forward. All you can do is with the resources that are out there and what your talent is, go do the best that you can do in an environment. If you're lucky enough to find other people that think like you do, then that's where you build from. That's it. That's how I see it.
Okay, and I'm not, and that's because I'm older than you, so I'll tell you that. All I'm trying to tell you is that look, we ain't got this, we ain't got all this time. If we live 200 years, I would say, okay, stick it out another 100 years and then bail on the other. But we ain't got that, and we don't know how long we have. So all I'm telling you is that, listen, you see the game is rigged against you. It is rigged so hard against you. You can't even if you think they give you an opening 2 steps ahead of you, they already closed that opening off. So I'm trying to tell you, it's look at the thing. They give you voting in in Texas, and then they give one box for you to put all these votes in Houston. That is crazy.
So Black Torch, that's you speaking, right?
Yeah, that's me. You know me. I'm the Exodus dude.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get at. So I just wanted to make sure I got your solution. Your solution is that expatriation, right? That's what you conclude.
No, my solution is for me. I'm not talking about for anybody else because there's a certain amount of black men who's never gonna leave, and some are going. And that's the thing. I'm talking to the guys who I can reach and say, listen, I looked at this situation. I did a cost benefit analysis of this whole thing, and it comes out you still lose. You know what I'm saying? Even though you figure it out, it's like that movie War Games. You play that game of check it of what was it, tic tac toe, and figure out that you could never win. So it's the same thing. It's the game of thermonuclear destruction. You can never win here because the game is fundamentally rigged against you, and that's the thing. Nobody's gonna explain it to you. Nobody's gonna tell you that. Look at it. Look at the. You gotta look at it. Even foreigners come here and know the game is rigged against you. That's the sad thing, and you don't even know it.
But the foreigners also realize that the game is rigged against them. But what they do is they sit down, and many of them don't like each other, but yet they will sit down and they will put their numbers together in political groups. They will put their money together in economic groups. We're not talking about they got zillions of dollars to put together. These guys have small money, but they put together these institutions, help them grow, and they hunker down and they hang together and they consistently bang away at this game, but they break through. That's what they do. You can break through up in here. You can't.
Right. But
let me finish up. Let me finish up, man. You can break through here, but the bottom line, very simply, is if you have the mindset that you can't break through, or you have the mindset that, well, I'm gonna get away from this, I'm gonna get away from that, and this is how this is going. I'm working like this. I'm working like that. I'm working like this. I'm working like that. You're jerking off. You're a jag off. That's what you're doing. You're not being realistic about what you're dealing with, and that's all I'm talking about. That's all I am talking about, man. It's that simple. I dropped this shit down up in here. You guys are fumbling all the fuck over it. But at the end, I thought teams understand it. All right.
I just gotta say one thing. This guy Saint 69ers 699. He says you can move to Wyoming or places like that. I've never said you couldn't do that, but I bet you start moving in mass over to these over to a certain areas and these things. I'll bet you how you'll see how either people become very hostile to you, or I bet you'll see that, because every time if it's a small amount of people moved into an area, it's okay. Nobody thinks about it, you know. But if you move in mass, then you might have some issues, you know. He's saying if 200.
No, I'm just saying, me and MOT, we talk about it. There are counties out here for sale. You can buy counties out here for sale for under $1 million. Fucking counties in this country. You drive across this country, there's so much land out here sitting wide open, ain't nobody sitting on it. You start to move out there in numbers and start to fucking organize and so forth. Well, people they get a little nervous, but when you start getting very successful, people will start saying, "Oh shit, look what these niggas are doing." But then, if you organize yourself like a fist and start to grow and defend yourselves, there's not going to be a whole lot these people are going to be able to do against it. There's not going to be a whole lot that people are going to be able to do against it when you begin to coalesce. See, these are the things I'm talking about.
So what's stopping you from doing so?
Are not acceding to this thought process. But see, this is what we're talking about. This is the game.
This is why I think
understand the game. Okay, you guys don't understand it. You guys are sitting back here and you're jag-offs. You're jagging off. And I'm getting a little tired of listening to this to this sector of YouTube and listening to all these jag-offs. And then I see all these other guys who I thought were really sharp and really smart running around sucking the nutsack of inferior, pointy-nosed, stringy-headed savages who do not have your interests at heart. And I've come to my conclusion, where have these niggas come from? Where did these niggas emerge from? And the game is sitting right in front of you. These people don't believe.
Before you go,
they don't believe.
Before you go, and go direct to what you've been saying the whole time. So here's the question then. So when we talk about this, you know, the space that's been out there, it's been out there. What stopped the majority of black people from buying those counties for the last 60 years? What stopped them from doing?
You have some you have some who are already starting to do this. Some people have already jumped on this, fam. Maybe you're not aware of it, but there are people who are already starting to make moves on this.
So I'm disagreeing that some people jump on it, but what I'm saying is that for the people that you're referring to, then if they're not jumping on that, then that's their problem. It's not the problem of
Okay.
I agree.
That's their problem. The people that
Would
want
I
to
address-
take advantage of the opportunities will take advantage of them. The people that are not going to, they're just not going to take advantage of it.
I really
What I
think
address
black
to-
people would
what I
have.
address to a lot of you guys, and I'm not talking about specifically just for anyone sitting here. That's why I said, yeah, I asked you that question, but that question was asked directly just to you. That's just that's a broad, more open question. You know, what are we going to do if you want to sit here and say, well, this is what's happening, and this woman's going to do this, and this is going to do this. What are your answers to that? I mean, and it's not that complex. It's not rocket science, in fact. It really isn't. I'm just saying, if we're gonna start having really what I would consider productive conversations, let's start getting to the brass tacks of what we're really talking about. Let's start getting to the bottom line of what we're really looking at, instead of sitting around here bullshitting. Because there are a lot of bullshitters that are sitting here grifting, sucking, laying it up, talking out the sides of their ass, and pulling all kind of fucking chicanery, and niggas are sitting here with 1,000 people in the chat room listening to this bullshit. And
There's a reason.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm asking,
some real deal stuff.
all I'm saying is that, and everything you're saying is true. It's no doubt. You've been around here for a long time, so you've heard all these discussions before. But all I'm saying is that, to me, what I'm seeing out here, there's plenty of opportunity, and there's no really excuse yet. There's obstacles here. But I'm just saying that what's stopping these people from just going and do it? Just do it. That's all I'm asking.
A lot of people don't put forth an initiative, and that's the issue. I can give a perfect example of this. Black people collectively don't control our own cultural narrative or even just economic narrative on shit. And this goes straight from, let's see, the liquor stores, the hair salons, all this place. Who's running them? I mean, you get foreign people that come here, and I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just merely saying, how the hell can someone not own something that they use a majority of the fucking time? That doesn't make any sense. And the thing about this that really should be concerning, if people are concerned about the wealth and the growth of the community, is the fact that, honestly, black people just need to learn to take an Asian approach to shit and just kind of have their business over here and see Taiwan across the street. I know I like him, but I like him. Fuck, I got to deal with him. I don't want to go broke. Just take that. I'm not saying everybody needs to be best friends, but at the same time, people don't need to actively be a fucking enemy, because whether people want to admit this or not, there are a lot of black people who hate the fuck out of other black people, especially if they get even an ounce, like a footstep ahead of them.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just have one question. I haven't traveled much in the what you call the flyover states, and people are mentioning that you can this and Nagone, and I believe MOT mentioned before that you can there's these whole places you can build and buy. I had a question. If of these places, are they the Rust Bucket area, or is just that there's nothing there or there's no industry?
I can answer that.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
It's a little of both. I mean, even in America, there are places that you can fix up, and you can even buy land dirt cheap, depending on where you go, like Alaska and like or some of the islands and everything. The thing about it is, I've been farming for a while. I know the average person does not like the idea of building and farming, but when you own your own land, your own property, and everything else, there's a certain level of pride one can take in that, and this is why too much like individualism in itself is not a terrible thing. Too much can be a terrible thing, but the same could be said about too much collectivism. You have to find a healthy balance in between that. Don't be a martyr and sacrifice yourself for everybody, but you don't also have to close yourself off completely. So it's a struggle, but you have to find a healthy balance.
But even when you mentioned that collectivism thing, here's my thought. I did a conversation about cultural capital, right? And I looked at the top 100 new startups in America, all of their history. Most of these companies that have been started up since the last 20 years that are really like innovating in the marketplace, less than 6 founders. When you look at PayPal, they had like 5 or 6 founders, right? So that's why what I'm saying is that the opportunities are there. There's nothing stopping someone that says, I want to create my own payment service right now from going and doing it. You can do it by yourself. You can do it with 2 or 3 people. I'm just saying, what's stopping you from buying land? What's stopping them from starting businesses?
Nothing.
With just a
That's
handful
what I'm
of
saying. Nothing's
that's where I'm
stopping
at.
them.
I'm not saying no, time out. I think y'all getting me, Mr. I'm not saying that nothing is. I'm not saying that could stop you.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no. I
saying.
wasn't speaking to you, Black Torch. I was talking
Oh,
about
okay.
the conversation that we've been having overall. This isn't about no specific person. Everyone has been speaking tonight. What I'm saying is that the title. Look, you got to go back to the title MOT has up there. The Trojan Horse of Black Male Independence versus SISBM, right? What I'm saying is that I find that for me personally, there's nothing stopping me from going in corporate business right now. There's nothing stopping me from saving my money right now. There's nothing stopping me but, myself from being able to get a loan if I need a loan. And if I want to create my own PayPal right now, the only person that can get it done is myself and maybe 2 or 3 other people. We can get it done if I wanted that. So it really falls on, that's why I say it falls on the individual more today, because there's less things stopping you from doing these things. I just think a lot of people don't want to do them.
See,
Oh, well,
you have a healthy.
That's the bottom line.
You're
breaking up,
mindset. I'm sorry, I'm on StreamYard, so I'll do the best I can. It's our mindset, and that's one of the key things that I want to see. Once again, I see brothers who have come into this space, who's supposed to be sharp and intelligent. Yeah, I would say some of these 1.0 people, and they come in here and they sounding crazy. People talking about SYSBM like that as a political movement. It is not. So that's not gonna specifically save you. I've been seeing SYSBM cats running around here for the last 30 years. All right, long before most of you were even fucking born. All right, or maybe y'all were running around playing with G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. But seriously, that's why
there's a name.
I'll be 60 soon. So let's put it like 30 years ago, I was out here live and in a motherfucker. All right, and 30 years ago, many of y'all weren't around. Okay, or some of y'all would like to say would just crawling around or whatever, soiling diapers and all that kind of shit. So at the end of the day, I've looked at what this game is, and I've come to see there's certain things that we're gonna have to do if we're gonna be even more successful. And we've been pretty successful given the circumstances. But for some of the complaints and some of the things I've been hearing about, and some of the solutions that we need, I'm not hearing real solutions. I know what the real solutions are, and I'm dead right about them. I know what they are. But a lot of these cats don't want to do them because they're not real, truly about really developing young black men and really moving forward. These guys are not real about it. They're not real at all. They're not real.
I think a lot of
someone that's a little younger.
I think a lot of people aren't about developing themselves. So so everything you're saying is true, but I think that we go too far because you got to develop yourself first. You got to know what your skill set is.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't even spend the time to invest in themselves and develop themselves, that they have a skill set that can, one, take care of their own needs and actually have a skill set that they can share with the greater society. I think a lot of people are just trying to figure out how to develop themselves first, is what I'm saying. So you can't, that's why so many people shouldn't even be having children. You can't be a father.
Exactly.
You develop yourself. You got a skill set that you can actually pass on to give your children a competitive advantage. I guess where I'm coming from the standpoint is that I think a lot of black men got to do the work on themselves first.
Correct.
Before they've developed enough skill and assets to actually bring to another group of black men, to the overall group of black people. And until we get
that sounds good. But when we talked about that, when we talked about male self-development, motherfuckers started laughing at you.
Who laughed?
Motherfuckers started howling.
Oh,
I can explain why they do that.
Magona's right. That's what they did.
I can actually explain why a younger person.
Hold on 1 second, fam. From all fucking walks of the game, and I saw that. I watched that very closely. I ain't missed that.
Did anyone on this panel?
No, it wasn't us.
We ain't talking about cats on your panel. We ain't talking about guys on your panel. Take yourself
He's talking about the garden variety MF, and I know why they do it.
I saw what went on when we talked
about those. I'm trying to say.
I saw what happened.
I don't care about those people anymore. Those people are counterproductive. They're dead weight,
and they can't be helped.
I don't even care about those people. I only want to deal with the people that got something to offer. And like I said, me personally, I got stuff I got to keep working on. And that's why I think a lot of people that are out here having children, you haven't developed no skill set. You haven't developed no assets. You don't have anything to pass on to a son or a daughter, yet you're out here having children. I'm not with none of that stuff. I'm just saying that we get too far ahead when we don't talk more about our people developing themselves. Do they have the skills to compete in this new era? Because ain't nothing stopping anyone that's listening right now from going out and working on that code that can build the next PayPal. There's nothing stopping you.
Oh,
Not to mention we have cryptocurrency.
But and that's what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to say the world is a big place now, and you don't have to alone do it here in America. You can develop your PayPal or your fintech idea, say in Rwanda or Portugal or Brazil. You don't have to be here. Wait. You don't have to be here. So I'm just trying to tell you the internet has freed us our minds, because now we can communicate with each other. We don't have to physically be here, and we can do things now that we couldn't, our fathers couldn't imagine. We can be free. And that's all I'm saying.
I completely agree with that, but you have to have like a healthy mentality, like the other brother was going. If someone doesn't have a healthy mentality, then you can't really help them. And what happened over time, and why the younger people especially will laugh, because, and especially the older guy in the room, I know you've heard this saying before at some point in time. If you could take the shackles off of someone's feet and put it on their mind, then you got them. Better yet, if you can get them to put the shackles on their mind without you ever doing anything, then you got them for life. You got them for generations.
Well, I'll give you an example with FS Avenger. The brother Brian Solange sent me an email. He said he's taking over FS Avenger, and he asked brothers to put a couple dollars on it. If anyone out there, he's doing a fundraiser right now. He has a platform. So those little things like that are out there. There's brothers that are trying to do things, but what I'm saying is that if the will is not there on an individual level to improve yourself, you damn sure aren't going to be a person that's going to offer anything to a small group of people or a large group of people. And that's why I guess I just end up falling apart about self-development, because I just think that we're behind on that part. And that's why it's hard to come together, because brothers haven't built up their skill set yet, and they're not really bringing anything that they can offer the group. And so you got brothers like the FS Avenger over there, and it's barely staying alive. And that brother pumped a lot of money into that. Now that's something that's there. If you got
I would tell you this. This whole thing about getting yourself together is it can be done. It's always been, to me, a red herring, because the people who were exiled from the community, those were the people that the community felt like you read books and things like that. They got themselves together. They've been together all the time, because that's why they wanted them out the community. Mm-hmm. So it's, to me, those guys don't need no self-improvement. What I'm talking about is these guys who were kicked out of the community, who got their shit together already. I meet them already in school. We talk all the time about what we should work on, what should we do, what ideas we're going to work on, and we do it all the time. There's the African dudes that I'm working with. They're basically doing that now. We do it all the time. It has nothing. You cannot save people who don't want to be saved, and that's how it is. 100%. And the problem is, we got this thing about the community. The community is dead. It's dead. Just leave it alone. It's dead. Just give up and start anew. I'm telling you, it's dead.
No, I mean, but a lot of brothers have come to that same conclusion that you've come to, and that's why that's why when I saw the title, that's why I wanted to chime in, because again, that's really what this is boiling down to: how each individual black man sees the situation from where he's standing at. And you got to go to where each person is standing at first before you can get anything done, because each individual is seeing things differently. And I think a lot of brothers are where you are, where you just said the brothers that you work with. That's what I'm seeing. They're good where they're at. They find people that they can work with. They're good. But those are not the people that are trying to save those that have proven themselves to be liabilities to not only themselves, but to everyone that comes in contact with them. You don't want that. They don't got the Midas touch, man.
I'll give you an example. You build something in the neighborhood. Do you know these guys will purposely try to destroy what you build in the neighborhood? Purposely.
The Dallas situation is if it's any example that we have that's right now, you got to go investigate the situation with the Dallas restaurant. To me, that is the perfect example of why I say that you got to just pursue your own interest. Because
I'm gonna flat out say it, man. As mean as this is to say, the community is like the Titanic.
What's that?
The community is a lot like the Titanic, man. You know it's sinking. Find a raft and get the fuck off of it, because I mean, some people they'll knock you off your raft like I hit you with the oar just to get a freaking boat.
That's why I brought up the Dallas situation, because he's the perfect example of what you're saying. Here's a guy, established lawyer. He has a law firm. He owns a top-notch restaurant with great food in one of the best locations to be at in America going forward. Dallas is ground zero for the outsourcing from California and New York. Tesla Motors is moving to Texas now. A bunch of New York companies are deciding that they're moving between Texas and Florida over the next few years. Big banks, right? So Dallas, you got a black man who's a lawyer and a restaurateur. He has other black people trying to destroy his restaurant in a city that's about to experience gentrification on a higher level than we've seen across America. Dallas and Austin, the rich people from California and New York are moving there. So you got a black man who knows the law, knows how to do business. You would think that every black person would go out of their way to not only put money in his pocket because the food is really good from what I heard, but they would go out of their way to protect the image of that restaurant. You know what? You come to find out, black folks are the ones that are trying to bring them down, not white folks, not the Latinas in Dallas. It's actually black people that he said himself are trying to destroy him. Luckily, he actually got more people to come, but there were black people trying to undermine that brother. I'm just saying, man, I just see a lot of black folks that will try to destroy other black people when they seem successful. Then when something fails, they come back later and say, why is there no black restaurant? Why is there no black this? Why is there no black that? That's the game I'm not trying to play in my own personal life.
And that's good, because there's so many people that play that kind of game. And it's really messed up that I had to tell one of my god kids, like, whenever it's that people will hate you when you have nothing, but when you actually have something, then you enter a new realm of hatred. And I often make this joke towards like friends and family. Damn, I'm the richest, poorest person I know, because hated for not having something. Then when I take care of my shit, then I'm hated for that. And put any other group of people, you take a man, especially a guy from any other group of people, they become successful. People happy for them. Get like an intelligent and successful black man that just doesn't really mess with anyone, just kind of keeps a low profile. And he will quickly find out that he is the most hated motherfucker on the planet by value of that. Hated even more so now because he doesn't need anything from anybody. So it's just one of the weird things.
No, he's hated here in America. He's hated. That's where he's hated.
Well,
because
yeah, in
you
America,
go other places. You go other places. I give an example. You go to Africa in some places. You got some fuckery going on there also. But you bring real skills there. You're on a different planet. You're in a different realm. You know, and that's what I tell you. Even if you go to Latin America, Costa Rica, Panama, you got skills. People, you're treated differently. But here, we're treated like this is like bizarro world. When in America, if you got any sense, you're treated like you're fucked up.
So when we bring the brother, I think his name is Attorney Ashley, right, into what you guys are saying, I need to hear from the people that are saying that the black people don't have this or that. What is your response to the fact that you got a black man with a law firm in Dallas, one of the fastest growing cities in America going forward, with all Silicon Valley moving there? Why is he treated badly and not supported during a time when restaurants are shuttering because of COVID restrictions and things like that? You got a guy that's surviving, that's providing a good service, that's providing good food, but then he can't get the respect from the exact targeted audience that we're talking about, who keeps on claiming that we're not doing this or they. But when these bad situations happen, we don't analyze it and break it down what's really going on here enough. We just want to ignore it. And
listen. We analyzed that we knew that from that situation for years. It's a dead horse. We know what's the deal. When that young kid graduated from law school and he said he's the prize, who shot back saying he wasn't the prize? We know this. We need to. It's already baked into the system. That guy made a mistake in Dallas. First of all, he put a restaurant for these people who don't give a fuck about him, don't give anything about him, and disrespects him. I wouldn't have let them in. I would have said, no, sorry, this restaurant, you got to act a certain way. If you don't want, leave. I would change my whole clientele after that.
Exactly. See, that's what I was getting at. See, this is what ends up happening. This is what I'm saying. What you just said. You would change your entire clientele after that. But remember, these people that are against that will say, well, you should be doing something for the community. He said his goal was to do something for the community, and it backfired on him. And at some point, Black people that are entrepreneurs, Black people that are living their individual life, they get tired of trying to help people and do things for people that don't care, and that will destroy them quicker than the so-called enemy will.
Now you see my point when I told you, King Sigma. Now you see my point. Doing something over and over and over again is what? Insanity. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're playing in a game that's rigged against you. So how are you going to win? You can't. That's the point I'm trying to tell you. You can't win. And that's, people call it defeatism. No, I call it being realism.
It's just the truth.
If you're in a battle and you see you're running low on ammo, you see that you're being ready to be overrun, and you got an exit to get out and regroup. You know, a stupid general will sit there and say, "Well, fight to the last man." A smart general will say, "Let's regroup and bug out and get ourselves together and come with a new plan." But the problem is, we're scared of the plan that we meet because the plan says that we got to get rid of a certain amount of people. And that's what nobody wants to do. And that's the basic problem. We got to do some serious, if we're going to stay here, we got to do some serious cleansing of ourselves. And I know that's never going to happen because we're not that type of people. We don't want to see another person in that situation. That's how we are. We are. But I'm saying, if you can't do that, you got to bug out, and that's what I'm doing. I'm bugging out.
And that's the best option, in all honesty, because people get mad when I make this comparison. I've had a few people cuss me out just because I refer to the Black culture as currently as it is the fucking Titanic, because the women are running the fucking show, and you can't build anything in a fucking matriarchy, man. And this is why women were put like as de facto fucking patriarch of the damn culture. No other culture has, well, most of the cultures don't have that fucking problem, simply because, as mean as this is to say, they'll just look at women and tell them to shut the hell up or something. Here, it's just like, God, like Black women are treated like fucking gods, man. It's just fucking ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying people should go out and disrespect other people for their gender or anything like that. I'm merely saying that under no fucking circumstance, at least, like fuck it, I don't care if it sounds like fucking like discriminatory or not. I don't see the point in having women lead the community in virtually anything. I mean, if you look at any culture in the world, any fucking matriarchy, they don't advance. Women aren't the primary fucking builders. Even if you want to reduce us down to a fucking village level, women are not going to defend the village. They're not going to build the village, but they will bitch about it. They will be the first ones to bitch about it, of course.
Right.
And that's all I'm trying to say. I'm just looking at this in real terms, because every time we try to come up with a solution, we analyze. We say, okay, Black Brain Trust. We on Arts Channel. We on this. We all talking the same thing about what we need to do. MOT's channel. We're talking, but it comes back to the same thing. If we're going to build a community here, we need like-minded women. We don't have that. We don't have that here. So
I
what?
can
So if and you think the mainstream thing gonna allow you to bring in say 200,000 women, and all of a sudden you replace them? It's never. You'll see how much laws they'll put up to stop that shit real quick.
that's
Yeah.
the thing, and I found there's a simple solution to this shit, and it sounds very barbaric. When women want to act up like that, ignore them. And if they get mad at what you do, just say, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. Well, I'm going to get men to fight you. Okay, I guess there's going to be a lot of dead motherfuckers on my doorstep then. I mean, just take that approach to it, because women keep
Yeah,
trying to.
but you're not. See, but you're not getting your thing. They have one advantage over us. They have the state.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't get it, and that's what I'm
It's
trying
sold
to
out
tell
to
you.
the state.
And the state will use its power. See, individually or just to them or a group of them, but the state. And that's what I'm saying. And if you try to replace them, why you think now they got these simps up on these channels telling you to take them back and all this other stuff and things like that? And they're gonna try to force you. There was
That's a
one
little
guy.
double.
Wait. There was one guy who was talking about at the point of a gun, we got to take them back. He was gonna try to force us as a point of a gun.
See, that's that whole
That's the power of the matriarchy, bro.
That's that
Simps
whole
is-
sovereignty thing, bro. It's like what you come to realize is that it's only recently, in a large way, that black men have started to really assert sovereignty over themselves. And I don't think that's really been there throughout history because of all the different policies that have been in place to stop black male from being able to express themselves and define themselves. And I think what's happening now is that the last 2 decades or so, black men are really in a bigger group than we've ever seen, really exerting their right to exist and define what they're going to be about, what they're going to pursue. And that's why I'm at the point where, but outside of the women in my family, I'm not sitting around worried about what the ABW is doing at all. Like, I don't even give a shit, because at the end of the day, women are usually going to be attracted to you based on whatever they're attracted to, whatever her race is, whatever her ethnicity is, whatever. Those are the ones that you should be rocking with. It shouldn't be like all this stressing about women. I don't know any group of people besides black American men that are stressing about their female counterpart to the extent that I hear black American men doing it, because those men, they have a situation of sovereignty. They have certain rules in place. And if those broads ain't trying to get on code, they leave those hoes to rock, in other groups.
This is why.
Yeah, but those other groups have frameworks. Our framework was put upon us by the dominant society.
Yes.
It was put on us by the dominant society. So it's artificial. And now that artificial constraint is being break apart, what do you think the women who were benefiting from it and the simps who will also benefit, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try to clamp down even harder. And that's the point. And that's why you see all these PhDs, these lawyers, and telling you, oh, you need to take these women back. You need to do this. And I just said, why are you even listening to these guys? These guys got PhDs. Look at what they got their PhDs in. Look at what
they can say. They can say all of that, and I completely agree with you. But here's the thing: I long predicted this, and I said this shit to a cousin of mine. She didn't like that I told her this. I told her, all the simps and all the women, they can use the state, they can use the government, they can attack us, but there's gonna come a time.
You broke up, Black Wolf.
Oh shit! Hello.
Just let me say this. Just let me say this. You guys are talking about women are going to do all this. I know plenty of brothers who have married women from outside of other cultures, and then women divorced them. Kicked them to the curb. They got divorced. They ain't saying shit about that, but they talking about sisters. Fair enough. Okay, I understand that. You see, I'm not blind enough just to see, well, it's just with black women out here. I see all these bitches out here. 10 niggas out the frame, left, right, and center. And I think some guys just want to tear on some of these black women just because something they can do. But at the end of the day, they've been torn out the frame by the bitches. And I've seen this go down routinely.
They made it.
Wait. Let them go and finish, because he's got a good point.
Okay. I got a couple boys who married Dominican bitches, got torn out. When my other boys got married to a Brazilian broad, oh my God, she fucking set him up and tore his ass out the frame. And when he came in and then ran with another dude, bought a bigger house, everything else like that with another cat, tore his ass out the frame. Me from my mid-cow perspective, utilitize this motherfucker. So that's all they did. They niggas sitting around here talking about they married other kind of women who were Asian or women from other cultures, and been torn out the frame.
And that's why, Nagone, you made my point.
I just want to finish one last thing. So this culture, basically, the feminist side that everybody's bought into, the white woman, as far as I'm concerned, is a new black woman. Okay, all that shit is fucking going down right now, and motherfuckers sitting here thinking that when you come to America, all of a sudden you're gonna run up SYS inside here, and you're gonna get a better deal. The circumstances that we see are not truly yielding those exact facts. And you got brothers up in this space going in on sisters who've been divorced by white, Asian, Middle Eastern women. Okay? Who've been torn out the frame. Fine. Okay.
And,
I've seen this.
Wait. Let him finish.
I gotta get up out of here.
All right, brother.
Okay. I gotta get out of here, man. So anybody got any last comments on
I just want to say thank you, MOT, as always.
I mean, yeah, thanks, MOT. You know what I'm saying? But we need to look at this woman thing across the board. We need to look at this thing for what it is. All right, guys, go ahead, man. Y'all got it.
Man, my own last thing. Thanks for having me on MOT. I would just say that, hey, man, I think that men should just focus on themselves, and women are always a supplement at best. If you get a really good one, she might be like a muse in your life, and that's a really good one. But outside of that, your code should be the same as a man. Your interests come first before everyone else, because you came in this world by yourself. You're going to leave by yourself. And if you get lucky, maybe you can leave a legacy built on your skill development and the wisdom to pass to the next generation. But that ain't no guarantee. So I say in the interim, just put yourself first, man, in your interests. I'm out.
Yeah, like I said, it's black men, you're in the crosshairs. Nobody truly got your interest off with us. Keep your mind on that. All right, keep your mind on that. I understand.
All right, it's 2 super chats I missed. Apparently, knowledge, thank you for the $5 super chat. Salute. MOT and Eric Bird, Peace Brothers, Obsidian, Grandmaster Troll, Solo TV, and for George making equal problem. I don't understand how they can be a problem, but okay, that's your opinion, what you think about it. And that's for the people who are doing live streams. If you miss the super chat, what you do is you go hit the live button and click on the live stream, and you look on the viewer activity, and it has all the super chats there. I was shown that a couple weeks ago by somebody, and I told I think Game Changer or maybe who was that, Mr. Fantastic about it. But just in case you miss them off the screen, that's where you can be able to see it. I do want to thank everybody for coming through, because it's very important that you, the individual, decides the outcomes, not the people that already have spoken. They've already have spoken already. You know what team that they're on. You already know where they're at. You just need to make sure that your voice is louder than theirs with your actual position to move away from problematic things. With that being said, I want to thank the panelists for coming on. Nagone 11, Blackwood Miltow, Black Torch, and
it was a pleasure.
Sorry?
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being here, and sorry if I kept interrupting people. I have like a 5-second lag sometimes. I just wanted to say before I go, women can get all the simps in the state to protect them, but mark my words, karma's a bitch. There's gonna come a time where no one's gonna be around to protect them, and then for once in all of human history, they get to be alone in the world, just like men were alone in the world when we first came about. And they're gonna have to. That's gonna be up to women. How that goes is gonna be up to them. I tell every man here, women are women no matter where you go. Fuck the race, fuck any of that shit. Women are always going to do that type of, they're always going to play those games. They're always going to be stupid like that. So just focus on yourself no matter what you do. Prioritize yourself at all times, because no one else is doing that for you. No one else is going to have your back harder than you. And that's the mentality you have to take if you're going to make it anywhere, here, overseas, anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, because no matter where you're at, you're still going to have to be able to exercise a level of principle in things. And it's not going to change whenever you go somewhere else. Like here is where you get the stuff to set up at. when you go to other places, that's going to be a hell of a lot less help than you receive here. So if you're not going to do it here properly and correctly, quite the likelihood you won't be able to do it anywhere else.
Exactly.
All right. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming through, but I got to get up out of here. I got some stuff to do. So you guys have a really nice day, and thanks for coming through. Have a nice day.
You too. Have a blessed day.